All right, hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Thursday afternoon, just before Friday, Monday morning podcast. Just checking in on you, seeing how your week's going. And once again, I have an amazing guest. This is what Thursdays are becoming, amazing guests with Mr. Bill Burr. We have the one and only from Real Time, Bill Maher is with us here, who is... He's plugging, you have a date, the Hulu Theater in Madison Square Garden?
Yes, on the 12th of this month, November.
That's amazing. Is that where Eddie did Raw?
I don't know.
I think he did.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think
that's also.
I don't think the Hulu Theater existed.
Well, they renamed it. They renamed it.
Well, it's Madison Square Garden. If you can't find that, you're not enough.
Right. You know what else happened there? That was where that whole East Coast, West Coast rap thing started.
Is that right?
That's where Snoop was going. You guys don't have any love for the West Coast? And Suge was saying, all up in the videos. Come on, you know this stuff.
I love the energy that you start this show with. I mean, like a
Bill,
minute.
don't bring me down. What I do is I stay at this level of energy to stay ahead of the fog of my depression.
What are you depressed about? Your career's going fantastic.
What do you mean? What am I? That's what fills you up. That's the BS. That's like, and then I do this, and then I do 2 episodes of ER, and then I'll love myself.
What? Seriously, you're not happy?
No, I am happy.
Okay.
I am happy. Before you judge me, but I do know. I do know that, like, if I slow down too much and I really take it all in, I don't like the movie.
Well, I do understand that.
Okay.
I mean, I only live for the future also. Like the past offer. Some people are like, they really get a lot of joy out of memories. It's like nothing. I mean, because it's gone. It's only about tomorrow.
Do you throw stuff out? Do you hold on to things?
I am very selective. I'm very neat, so I do hold on to things, but it fits into, like, I'm very big on files. I have many files. Like, I'm not a car guy, but I have files up the ass. I have them in the garage. I have in my office, the
like
outer
a file
office.
cabinet.
Like very, very good files. Like Fire King files. They are fireproof and they are strong. Some of them I've had for 30 years. They last.
And what's in there?
Everything. Like every year I keep a file of just like stuff from that year that just reminds me of what happened in the year. Notes and things that happened, like, you know.
So you are a little sentimental.
Well,
just in a very office type of a way.
It's not really for sentimentality. I call it being a good caveman. Because when I want to look back and know what happened in 1991 or something, I can look at that file and know who I was. I want to be a good anthropologist for my own life.
Oh, all right. Now, when you go back, have you ever? How often do you go into those file cabinets? That's what I want to know. Like, is this something like every Friday night?
It's not.
Let's see Bill Maher in 1988.
It's not often, but I did have the occasion. I won't even tell you why, to look back at like the beginnings, like stuff that from like age 12 to 14, I was looking at with someone. We were laughing our asses off.
Oh, all right.
About it, because, you know, I kept a little journal. I started when I was like 14 or something, and it's just, of course, hysterical. I mean, what goes through your mind and what you're thinking, and I mean, like in that file, there were things like I had sent away to WABC radio in New York for the Hot 100 Songs of the Year, 3 years in a row. And they, you know, if you sent away with a self-addressed stamped envelope, they would send you
the list of them.
Yes, what were the top 100 songs? I guess this was by sales back then. Now it's streaming, and who knows?
Right.
I mean,
It's made up.
Taylor Swift has the top 10 songs now on the charts. Well, that could never happen back when they actually tabulated who did the best by who went to a record store and bought it. The Beatles once had the top, I think, 4 or 5, but that's only because they had the whole backlog from 63 before they had broken here in America. So like when they had I Want to Hold Your Hand was their first hit in America, but they had She Loves You had been a hit in England the year before, and a couple of their other singles. So they had like 5 songs in the top 10. That will never happen again for real.
Right.
Anyway.
But she is a really good, I respect how a good business person she is, that she realized that she was getting screwed over by her label and then tried to create something else. I forget if that worked or not. Where they give you, like, for every 90 million views, like she gets like half a cent. I mean, I love how like the internet set us artists free for like half a second before the business people came doing like the end around. Like right now, they're signing new comics. And they're like owning their podcasts and getting. And I'm trying to tell every young comic I need, like, you don't fucking need these guys. They can't get you advertising if you don't have listeners. You're going to get all of this stuff, and then what's going to happen is if you leave that agency, it's like they're going to get your money for the rest of time. It was like back in the day, if you booked a sitcom with one, and your agent was at whatever William Morris, and then you left for Gersh. The whole time you did that sitcom, you owed William Morris the money. They're going to do that with like podcasts.
Where the fuck do you see young comics?
What do you mean? I go out to the clubs, Bill.
You do?
Yeah, you have to. It keeps you young as far as like you're still like I'm still 54, but like you can't go out, dude. I used to watch a lot of guys from your generation.
What do you mean my generation?
Your generation.
I'm 12 years older than you.
You're a boomer, man. You're fucking talking about the Beatles getting all
You're 54.
your feathers.
Okay, so you're 12 years.
Fluffed about what's her face.
Okay. By the way,
the White Album is so much better than Taylor Swift.
By the way, to anyone under 30, we're the same. Okay, so don't be like your generation.
We are, but to you, but I'm saying as a kid, I was coming up. Your stand-up generation.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
during the heyday of the sitcom.
Yeah.
Can we meet on that ground? Can you uncross your arms for half a second?
Maybe.
Let me feel like you're judging me. All right, so we're coming, and like I saw a number of people who were like series regulars or had their own sitcom,
right?
And the whole thing was once you got like into that third season and it got rolling, and you were working towards syndication back when that was a thing, and you'd have this avalanche of money. I saw a handful of those guys just stop doing stand-up and then come back.
Oh.
After like 6-7 years. That's like leaving music for 6-7 years, how much it changes. And I watched them like really struggle. I mean, they eventually figured it out, but that's why I kind of learned that lesson. It's just like, this is like going to the gym. I have to do that.
I mean, but I go to the gym, but I just don't do it in the clubs. I mean, I'm always on the road, not every weekend, but like every other weekend. I mean,
yeah, but you're going on in front of your fans though. And
right.
That's different. That's a layup. They're there to see you.
Exactly. Why would I torture myself and go in front of people who don't understand?
Because you're going to lose your edge, man.
I do not lose my edge. Trust me, my edge. I just did a special. It was on earlier this year called Adulting. It's very, I mean, trust me, I'm surprised I wasn't canceled from it.
Yeah, but who's going to cancel you? Like I say, young people do. I was going to say, you are the establishment.
Well, by the way, you and I, anybody could get canceled in the next 30 seconds.
Oh, wait, you were one of the first guys when you had politically incorrect.
Yes,
that's right.
Exactly.
I forgot about that.
Excuse me. I was literally canceled. Okay, back
they literally took your show away. Back when there was
yes, when canceling meant actually being canceled.
Yes, for our younger viewers, he had a show called Politically Incorrect, which was fantastic. It was just you hosted, and then you had just 4 completely different people.
Right.
He would have like Anwar Sadat on with like Slash, and then they would just start talking.
I love the choice of Anwar Sadat.
I was trying to think of somebody
so perfect.
I was trying to think of somebody political, and I actually saw him. I saw him do a gig out in front of the White House. We went to Washington D.C. in the early '80s, and Anwar Sadat was there.
No.
Yeah, and he gave a speech. I saw him live, man. That's like seeing the Stones.
Right.
No, it's like seeing Jim Morrison because he's not here anymore.
Boy, how about the way he bought the farm, huh?
I mean, that was bizarre. For you guys who don't know, he was watching a military parade of his own country, and as he's watching one of the trucks pull off, everybody jumped off and just started shooting at him with machine guns.
Right. And
his security tried to bury him in chairs.
Well, it was his own security people who were killing him.
Yeah.
Well, same way.
That world leader thing that's a tough gig.
Tough gig. Same way Indira Gandhi got it. Sometimes the people around you who you
was that Mahatma Gandhi's brother?
No. Gandhi is a
Man, that was a deep cut.
No, a deep cut. No, Indira Gandhi was the leader of India, not related to the other Gandhi.
So that name's like Sullivan over there.
It's very common. Actually, the name Patel is even more common. I think like the number of people in India named Patel, there's some stat I read, like if it was a country, it would be like, the 18th largest country in the world.
Have you ever been over there?
India?
Yeah.
No.
I did a gig over there, man. It was amazing.
Come on, a gig?
Yeah.
You did a gig in India?
Yeah, it was amazing.
What city?
And I'll tell you, the people there, they're fucking hilarious. They're ball breakers. When I called up this podcast, and they were just talking to me going like, hey, you going to talk about this? And I was like, I don't know. They go, you going to talk about that? They just kept leading me on these things. You talk about religion or something? And I was like, I don't. I go, wait, are you guys talking about this stuff? And then they started laughing. They were trying to get me in trouble.
What city was this?
Mumbai, which used to be Bombay
Of course,
when we
I
were
know.
kids.
No kidding.
All right, I'm not trying to, okay, I get it. You have a globe.
No. Mumbai.
Mumbai,
Yes,
sorry.
it's the city that was attacked so viciously in 2008.
Yeah.
Remember the attack
By the
there?
Protestants.
No, by the
Palestinians.
Protestants. Exactly. The Amish, I believe, was.
Yeah, I'd love a water. No, who was it? It was Pakistan. Was it Pakistan?
It was a Muslim attack on Hindu India. I mean, and boy, did they! I mean, they went through that city, that hotel that they attacked. I think they made a movie about it, the Hotel Mumbai or something.
Yeah. Well, when I was there, they had like people with like machine guns and stuff out front. But it was like they were beautiful people, man. There was something about them, like they were all jammed in together, and you think that they'd be like New York,
right?
But they weren't. I'm not gonna lie to you. There was people walking around with T-shirts that said "Real men don't rape," and I was like, "What's up with that?" You're like, "That's really not here. That's a little bit north of here." It's just like, all right, every country's got their old school Times Square you don't go to.
That city is one of the greatest income inequality examples in the world because there's billionaires. There's a house there that is like, I don't know, something like 50 stories high or something, and the guy owns the whole thing. Right. And then there are the slum dogs. I mean, there are people who literally live in that sewage. I mean, what their immune systems must be like over there, just incredible.
Yeah. No, it was a...
I don't think they need the vaccine.
No.
I really don't.
They are the vaccine.
I think they're good.
Yeah, no, but it was quite a I would go back in a second. That's how much I enjoyed it. I would go back in a second. It's just I got 2 kids now, and it's just such a long flight to try to get back there. But I would go back there in a second, and the perspective it gives you, how cool they are, how funny they are, and then all the stuff that they're dealing with, and like just going over to Asia was amazing to travel over there because they literally have everything that we have, but just different people doing it. Like they have their own rock stars, their own airplanes and stuff. And you stay here and you think, everybody is into what we're doing, and they're over there and they don't give a fuck.
And their own movie.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Bollywood. I mean, there's a whole entire movie industry over there that is different than ours. So how
but
do they...
though, but you like watch it and you're kind of like, this is their Bruce Willis. I get this guy.
Right.
It's because there are just so many stories to tell.
How did they know you over there? From
podcast.
Really? From podcast?
Yeah, podcast people like they
well, I guess they also get
I have people
Netflix.
I have people
Netflix. Your special is huge on Netflix.
Yeah,
and
Netflix is
fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. And then there's people in countries they're not supposed to be listening to it will reach out and tell me that they listen to. I never say what countries because I don't know what goes on. The black van pulls up. I don't want to be a part of it.
Right.
But like it's a really like. Yeah, no, it's great. Like, I was in Italy one time, and some kid from like Serbia or something came up to me. He goes, "You Bill Burr?" And he said it with the accent. I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Hey, Monday morning podcast. Go fuck yourself." Like, you got to be kidding me. I go, "You listen to that shit?" Yeah, I got a picture with them and everything. It was awesome.
I played Europe in 2015. I did the English-speaking places you can play: Oslo, Stockholm.
Did you do
obviously London?
You got to do the Midwest.
Amsterdam.
I did that one. It was amazing.
The Midwest.
The Midwest of Europe is what I call it.
Oh.
Like we did. Where the hell were we? No, we did Latvia. No, but we did in Warsaw. We did like 4 cities in Germany. Budapest, Prague, Vienna, and dude, you can just go over there. Their English is so good.
Right.
You can just do your act.
Just do it, yeah.
When I was in Budapest, I was like in the middle of my second one. I should have taped this. This is like a special.
Right.
They were that great, and they loved anything you did. If you made fun of their country or you made fun of your country,
right.
Gold.
Yeah.
Gold. And I always feel it's kind of good to do that. If you make fun of yourself, they realize you're not coming there like a pompous ass, but you also make fun of them. You're not going there to like kiss their ass or whatever, but like I had fun in Germany talking to them, saying like, all the amazing stuff you guys did with like, audio tape and space. You pick one wrong guy.
Yeah.
One monkey, you just can't. And they were just sitting there like they was like.
Well, they must get it all the time. And the truth.
Well, yeah, I mean, but there's also other shit going on there. I mean.
Yes. And it's unfair, but to people who are Germans today, because it was a long time ago, they had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And I always think about the Nazis, like every group of people at some point has tried to take over the world. Everybody gets their turn in the barrel, like doing that.
Those are my favorite Norm Macdonald jokes, was saying how Germany was the size of Maine, and they tried to take over the world, and they almost did it.
Germany was never the size of Maine. Germany's a large country.
It isn't.
It is.
Not compared to us, it isn't.
Not quite compared to us, but in Europe it is.
I found your button. Your button is geography. You get all prickly.
No,
it's
I'm just Mumbai.
Mumbai, sorry.
And also Germany is a large country. And German peoples live outside of Germany. That's one reason why Hitler was taking over little parts of Europe before
I'm not
World War
counting the expats. I'm saying what it says.
They're not
expats.
They're just pockets of German people. Czechoslovakia has German people. That's why he went in. Not refugees. He went into the Sudetenland because he was, quote unquote, protecting ethnic Germans there. He went into Alsace-Lorraine on the other side of Germany. Germany is a fairly big country. And
you just downsized that. You said Germany's a big country. Now you're saying fairly big. Just saying.
Why do we have to have this adversarial relationship?
Because it's fun.
Okay, all right. But,
I read your book a long time ago.
Which one?
The True Story.
Oh, good.
Buick and all of that. I love that book.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Now, when you started stand-up, you literally, there was so few rooms, right? Before the whole, did you start before that, or was that just in the book that you were talking about that?
Again, we're 12 years difference in age. You make it sound like...
That's a big difference.
I don't think it's as big a difference
dude,
as you're making it.
I came out, there was the compact disc. You were like fucking LPs.
Okay.
You buy a bag of grass
if
fucking big.
It is. If this is what you need,
now it isn't.
If this is what you need to make yourself feel young, you do you.
No.
All I know is
now it's not a big deal. But like when I was 12, you were 24. You had like a mustache and shit.
Okay, but when I was 20, when I was 36, you were 24. The older you get, the more alike you become. Now that you're...
I know, but I'm talking about back then. I started in 1992 rather than 1980. That's a big fucking difference as far as where stand-up is.
Okay, great. Do you have that? If that makes you feel good, then you do.
No, I was trying to find out about stand-up.
Yes, well, we had crude tools back then, and there was no electricity, so we had to shout the jokes.
No, but there wasn't like there was a funny bone in every state back then.
There was a comedy explosion around the early 80s. That's true.
Okay.
Every town had a bunch of comedy clubs. It was exciting. It was also not so good because there was too many clubs and too many comics, which quickly burned out.
When did you notice that? Like when you were doing it, did any of you guys that were doing stand-up in the 80s, did any of you guys see the bubble bursting? Like there's no way you can sustain this?
Yes, of course. How could Columbus, Ohio have 6 comedy clubs? It was just ridiculous. And I remember there was improvs at some point, like in so many cities, and my great friend, patron Bud Friedman, I remember at some point he moved to Beverly Hills because there was improvs in every city and the money was pouring in, and there he was in Beverly Hills and had this big, beautiful house and all this artwork. And then somewhere, wait, listen to this.
I love the new money artwork.
Okay,
thing. That's one of my favorite things ever.
All right, let me finish.
Sorry, I was laughing at your joke.
So I didn't tell the joke yet, which is that he, around 1990, I guess, somewhere around there, called me up and said, "We're having to move." This is apropos to the point you're making about the boom and bust. And would you like to walk through my house and I'll give you all the artwork that I can't afford to keep at just what I paid for it. And I got some amazing pieces. Like a vulture, I swooped in when a friend needed to sell his artwork. And to this day, it hangs in my house. Some amazing pieces that I got for very little money. And that's how I got back at the club owners, Bill.
That's yeah. Wow, he got overextended like that. When I was starting, he was going through his divorce.
Oh.
Yeah, that's when I started.
His divorce?
So his...
From Silver?
Yeah, she got the New York
Yes.
Improv, and you know that famous story, right?
That's not when you started. I remember he was with Alex.
Or then he was already divorced.
Absolutely, or
Okay.
soon. But I remember going to when David Letterman had a morning show. Like
I remember, for 1 year.
I think it was 1982.
I don't remember. I remember seeing it about
Something like that. And I remember going to a taping of that, and Bud was there with his new bride. So he must, and of course, Bill, in 1982, you were still in diapers.
I was 14. I was 14.
I know, I'm kidding because you're.
If there was, so she was long time divorced, but the story I had heard that was part of the divorce settlement was she got the New York Improv, and that he couldn't open another improv within 100 miles or something, and he opened one in Atlantic City, and she got in her car and hit the odometer and drove down, then it was like 98 or 99 miles, and they made him shut it down.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that's true.
I'd never heard that.
Allegedly, before she
Yeah.
comes back and sues me.
No, I don't know about that. But I do know that there were a lot of improvs, and I played them all.
It's Simply Safe, everybody. You know, if you thought about securing your home with home security, but haven't been putting it off, you'll want to listen up. Right now, my listeners can order the #1 rated Simply Safe home security system for 50% off. This is their biggest offer of the year, and you won't want to miss it. Simply Safe was named the best home security system of 2022 by U.S. News and World Report for a third year in a row. It's a fucking dynasty. All right, in an emergency, 24/7 professional monitoring agents use Fast Protect TM technology exclusively from Simply Safe to capture critical evidence and verify the threat is real. It is not a raccoon. It is a fucking person. Waste them. HD security cameras for inside and out. Smarter ways to detect motion that alert you only when a threat is real, and even hazard sensors that detect fires, floods, and threats to your home. Like that annoying neighbor coming up your walk. 24/7 professional monitoring service costs under $1 a day, less than half the price of ADT's traditional professionally installed system with top-rated Simply Safe app. Stay in complete control of your system. This is where you just go, you oversell, right? They got it. I mean, we got another fucking page of this. Anytime, anywhere, arm or disarm, unlock for a guest, access your cameras, or adjust system settings. Don't miss your chance for massive savings on my favorite security system. Get 50% off any new system at simplysafe.com/Burr. I feel like old school. Get 50% off their biggest discount of the year. That's SimpliSafe, SimpliSafe.com/Burr, BURR. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Oh, look who it is, everybody. Are you kidding me? The oldie but goodie, doing the casinos at this point. It's old Zip Recruiter. Zip Recruiter, are you hiring? What type of role are you hiring for? Maybe you need to hire someone that wear many hats. I thought they said maybe you need to hire somebody that wears a hat. It's kind of vague, which can be challenging. Or you might have to have a position to fill, but it's taking forever to find someone who's a great fit for your company. Whether you need to hire a civil engineer in New York, a pediatric nurse in Nebraska, an attorney in Colorado, or even a mascot in Missouri, Zip can help you find quality candidates fast. And now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/Burr. From accountants to zoologists and everything in between. Zip. Matching technology finds people with the right experience for your job and presents them to you. For my money, I like the Devil Read the best. Then that's the 80s album. Rob Halford wrote that copy. Then you can invite your top choices to apply. It's so effective. 4 to 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it now for free at this exclusive web address, I should say it, ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter.com/Burr. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/Burr, BURR, ZipRecruiter.com/Burr. The smartest way to hire. I fucked that up. I like when I go to ZipRecruiter.com. The smartest way to hire. Who did you start with?
In the clubs?
Yeah.
There was 3 clubs There was the Improv, like you mentioned, on the West Side. That was the granddaddy of them all. That started in the early 60s as an off-Broadway place, right? It was like place originally, I think.
Became a pizza place, and I think that shut down.
It did?
Yeah, because I remember going in there because the shape of it is still sort of the same because that Richard Pryor Live and Smoking he taped there, and it's just, of course, a total close-up, so you don't even get to see in the club at all.
He taped there?
Yeah, he's got that one where he's
The one on 44th and 9th?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, that was where the first, really the first urban comedy club, the place that really changed everything from the Catskills, which is, you know, way back when that's how comics used to start. That was the, you know, Borscht Belt. And then I guess the Improv opened something like in 1962. I don't know. But that was the first one. And then Catch a Rising Star was on the east side. That was my club. When I got there, like in the early 80s, that was the hottest club. That's where Pat Benatar started. They had music acts there, as well as comedy. Richard Belzer.
And then you guys all hung out at the Green Kitchen?
Yes,
right?
that was right across the street.
These
the
stores
Green
were all
Kitchen.
legends when I came around.
Richard Belzer. And then there was the Comic Strip. That was a couple of blocks away on 2nd Avenue. That was Seinfeld and Eddie Murphy. That was like the Long Island
Richie's
comics.
Club. Yeah,
Larry
82nd,
Miller.
2nd, yeah.
Richie Tinkin?
Yeah.
Yes, Richie Tinkin and Bob Wax, who had previously owned these blood buckets in the Bronx. But then they got, you know, but then it was like, okay, we could, you know, chime in on this comedy trend. And open a comedy club, and they did, and it, you know, comedy was just off the hook at that era.
So what that fascinates me, because I never talked to somebody that came up in that era that actually said that they saw in the 80s that they saw that coming. I'm not saying you started in the fucking industrial age.
I started in Mumbai in the 1500s.
Yeah, no,
Bill.
you started like the 80s.
80s,
Now,
absolutely.
It fascinates me that you're in the middle of something and you're going like, I know this is going bust. So but you have to be will you think about like the cream's going to rise to the top or stay at the top or whatever?
Well, I mean, back then the template we all worked by was we're doing stand up, yes, but we want to get a sitcom. I mean, even Seinfeld got on Benson.
Yeah.
And we all thought it was great. I remember my friend Jimmy Brogan, you know Jimmy Brogan?
Yeah, Tonight Show writer.
He got, he got a show where he was an angel. What was the name of that show? I forget, but I remember seeing it. It was in TV Guide, and I got TV Guide when TV Guide was like that big.
And it was huge. If you were on the cover of TV Guide, you were the most famous person in the world.
He wasn't on the cover, but it was like fall season new shows, and like, wow, I know this guy, and he's in TV Guide. He's got a show. Didn't last. So that's what we all wanted to do. Here was the thing: you were working the clubs, and you would get enough shots, Tonight Show shots, which were 6-minute shots of clean material, because this was the clean era. And then when you had like 5 or 6 of them, then you would do the Tonight Show, because you didn't want to do one and then not have material to do like the next 2 or 3 or 4. So that's what I did.
So what would you do? You'd bank a 5-minute thing, like I'm not doing it on TV. I got that down, now I'm doing these. You just built it?
Well, you just tried to have, before you
got in front of them, you made sure you had like 30 minutes of clean stuff?
That was what you were supposed to do.
Right.
You know, did it work out that way? Not always. It kind of worked out that way for me. I did my first Tonight Show in '82, and I did for the next like 10 years with Johnny while he was still there. I did like 31 shots.
That seemed, out of every story I've heard, doing the Tonight Show the first time as a comedian seems like the most terrifying experience.
Oh, yeah. It is.
I mean, it was literally like you're either going to make it or you're not.
It's absolutely true. Because if you didn't, and there was a couple of comics who did not do well, who kind of like spit the bit. and they never worked again. Because if you did bad on like Merv or something, well, okay, that wasn't the
You could shake off a Merv.
yeah,
Griffin.
right. Yeah, you could. Right. You were.
That came on at 4 in the afternoon.
Right. You. No, it taped at 4 in the afternoon. It came on at night. But
Oh, it did.
But you were like building up to the Tonight Show.
All right.
But if you blew it on the Tonight Show, it was not good. But of course, it was cake because Johnny would set you up. The crowd was cake.
Dude, if it was cake, there wouldn't be people fucking it up. So
Well,
what mindset?
You can fuck anything up because you're so nervous. But it was really yours to fuck up because the crowd was easy, and Johnny would do his like, comedy is the hardest commodity to find. And of course, at that point, it wasn't the hardest commodity
Right.
to find. You couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a fucking comic in 1982. But he would still say that thing. And we've got a young guy. He's got great observational stuff. He's going to do. And Jeff Steinfeld. I remember he brought out Jerry with that. That's how he pronounced his name.
Jeff Steinfeld.
Jeff Steinfeld.
You went out
and you go out and you do your little,
the first one
dog and
lands.
pony show, and you've been practicing this 6 minutes for like 3 years. If you can't fuck, it was like your mantra. So
Did they give you bullet points, or you?
no, oh no,
Yeah, no.
of course not. I used to write it on my hand in red ink, so because red, like we couldn't see it as much. But just in case I went up, I could, and I did that for every shot I had. It was always written in red on my hand.
You remember one time I had a nightmare right before I was doing one of my Lettermans, and I don't know what the fuck it was. I was just so nervous, and I went that I couldn't remember my act, and I turned around and my dad was sitting behind his desk.
Oh, wow.
It's like Psych 101. This is the father figure of comedy. I want his approval. And I actually woke up in the middle of the night, whatever hotel they had, and I just started laughing, going like, Jesus Christ, dude, just do your shit. And
It's funny because like the nightmare that so many people have, that I've had, is that you're about to take a test and you haven't studied. You ever had that?
No, I had. Well, that was actually that was my actual
Life.
academic career. But I definitely had those thoughts of like, what if I forget my? But you just don't.
But that's it. I'm saying I used to have that nightmare that I was about to take a test and I completely forgot about it. And now I didn't know anything that was going to be on the test. And then when I became a comedian, that nightmare became I was about to go on the Tonight Show and I hadn't prepared anything. And so he was about to introduce me, and here's a funny young guy. He's been with us before. Here he is, Bill. And there I'm. Oh my God! And I walk out.
Just
and
seeing those curtains, like, oh my God.
Yes, and the band.
Nice.
That it's like that trumpet sound, and
So you finish your set. He gives you one of these.
Probably, I don't remember. I wasn't.
Like, how fucking high were you afterwards? It was over. You delivered. Everybody slapped you on the back. You know it isn't bullshit. I mean, what a relief.
Yeah, it is a relief. That's more than anything. It's a relief. I didn't blow it. I'm officially in show business. I'm at the very bottom, but at least I'm in show business. I've been flailing around in the water, and now somebody pulled me on the raft. And
how many of those did you have to do before you started selling tickets?
All. No, I never. You don't sell tickets from doing 30 Tonight shows, not in the 80s, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, I was working as a comic, but I still was working as, well, first of all, I was trying to get on a sitcom, and I did. I got on a sitcom in
Which one?
It's called Sarah, with Gina Davis in the title role. It was an amazing cast. Gina Davis, Alfre Woodard, right from her Academy Award nomination, still doing great. Still love Alfre. Bronson Pinchot, who went on to be Balky in that sitcom.
I watched a lot of sports. I missed a lot of that era.
Yeah,
I did see Thelma and Louise, though.
Okay, Thelma and Louise, yeah. And
Gina Davis. It's not Thelma?
I'm just doing that.
okay.
I'm just doing that to fuck with you. But so I got on
I feel like math class. I'm not going to pass this class.
That's what you said when you were on my show. You said,
did I?
Yeah, it's in our highlight reel. You were like, you said like, I feel like
I've never felt like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like when I did your show. It was so. You had that guy who ran for. Yeah, that guy who fucking ran for
But
president.
it was so silly. I mean,
Sitting across
I feel like I want to be your shrink because I think you're
With all your file cabinets? I don't think you're qualified.
You're underestimating your intelligence. First of all, you were the mid-show guest when we used to have that, so you weren't even being asked to do anything political or engage with the panel on a. I can see see why that. Yes, they did.
No, they
of course we did. Of course we did. You blocked it out. We think we were trying to fool you.
How that never happened.
It did. But anyway,
you sound
the point
like
is,
a old school parrot.
Point is,
I never did that.
The point is, you could engage on any intellectual level you want. You just like to cultivate this image as you're the regular blue collar guy who doesn't know that much, and I know you know a lot.
You know what? I know people.
You know other things besides people. You're 54.
Nothing,
I know you hate to hear that.
Nothing. Yeah, don't project your age bullshit on me. Nothing in your world, though. Like, I think anybody who watches Fox and CNN is a fucking moron.
I heard you say that the other day.
Fucking morons.
I can't watch cable news much either.
I don't understand. I liked it better when they brought the newspaper. I liked those lies better. And you just went in by yourself and you just sort of opened it up and, hey, Marge, did you hear they're going to knock down the fucking store? Whatever the hell they used to do. You didn't get to interact with other fucking morons and it becomes like this atom bomb of stupidity.
I'm trying. My show on HBO has always been...
And HBO 2 and HBO Max, it records Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific, and it is additional replays throughout the week on HBO, HBO 2, and HBO Max.
It records then, Grandpa.
Okay, records.
Anyway, yes, it records.
On YouTube and Twitter.
And people actually now can watch it at any time they want because that's where the technology has moved. Can you believe that? Anyway, it's one of the last shows, maybe the only one, that is a legitimate debate show that presents both sides. It's definitely not in the silos that what you're objecting to, I think, and what I hate also, is that if you watch Fox News or MSNBC, you only hear what these people already believe, and you're never going to hear any other opposition point of view. And it's a terrible way to run the country for people
to way to live.
To get their news this way.
To not be challenged. And
exactly.
It's never our fault. It's always because of what they do. And I don't know.
I agree. No, trust me.
Yeah, and then I feel like that's why they go after soft targets. You know, like, and anything's a soft target to them is what doesn't put money in their pocket, which is why people can do horrific fucking things at a corporate level, and they don't expose it at all. But
what do you mean soft targets?
Like comedians.
Oh, I see.
To go after a comedian is got to be like the easiest thing to be outraged about because it's going to cost you nothing. And you're going to get a big controversy going and stuff like that to go after a podcaster or an influencer or somebody who acts on a fucking TV show. Like, none of those things.
You mean going after them to cancel them because they said something
acting like what they're doing is what's wrong with the country rather than we can't drink our own water now because corporations have poisoned, or you came up with synthetic heroin and killed a couple 100,000 Americans. That all just fucking goes away.
Who came up with synthetic heroin?
Pharmaceutical companies.
Where can I get it?
Huh?
Oh, you're talking about opioids?
Oxy, all of that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That is synthetic heroin.
It's like the Houston Astros thing, where they cheated at such a fucking level that they don't even talk about it.
Right.
They fixed the World Series. But if you have like a football that's allegedly a cunt hair lighter, they'll talk about that for fucking 8 years because it doesn't affect anybody's money. It's silly. It gets fans yelling and that type of stuff. I watched the whole Astros-Yankees series, and I've watched this whole... I missed a little bit of game two, the Philly series, and they haven't brought it up once. They fixed the World Series. They haven't brought it up fucking once.
Well, it was litigated. I mean, the Astros certainly were booed unmercifully for a whole year after, I think it was 2017.
Oh, poor babies. 1 year.
No. Okay, I'm not
still be going.
I can give a fuck about the Astros. I'm not defending the Astros. I'm just saying it shouldn't live on forever. And they didn't fix the World Series. They were sign stealing. Okay. Yes, it's everybody in sports, by the way, cheats as much as they can get away with. You think
to a certain point.
You think they're the first ones to cheat?
No, but there's this. No. My problem is not that they cheated. My problem is they don't get shit for it. That everybody's just shut the fuck up.
They did get shit for it.
And then it just stopped though.
Well, should it go on forever?
You know what it's like?
Should it go on forever?
It's like, should fucking ticky-tack horseshit go on forever? Because that does. Is my point
but the Astros are a very good team, and they're winning
2-1, by the way.
So they're not good.
Huh?
They're in the World Series, and they might win the World Series. I think they're good, and they're good without. They're proving that they're good even without the cheating. Now, should they have cheated? No, of course they shouldn't. And by the way, they weren't the only ones who were doing that.
Let me ask you a question: the Patriots didn't prove that they were good.
I do share opinion about how they made a big thing about Deflategate when it was nothing. Absolutely, I share that
Yeah,
opinion.
got left out of court. The judge was actually mad for them wasting their time.
But you realize that sports in general does not matter. It's not important, and it's a giant waste of time. I watch it also.
That's why I watch it. It's not why I originally watched it, but now I watched it.
That's why-
I
me
tried
too.
to watch the news.
Right.
I tried to be the guy that knew stuff, and it just fucking
didn't work.
Well, because there's no solutions. It's just they just present one horrible thing after another.
That's not true either.
And then you just watch people go after the tail, never the head.
That's ridiculous. There are many, many people in this world who are better off because boring people locked in rooms eating cold pizza at 2 a.m. with stale coffee worked on
drivers?
worked on problems so that lives could be made better, and they were.
That was one of the most vaguest, longest sentences I've ever heard in my life.
Well, if you wouldn't interrupt me so much, I could finish.
What are you talking about? I listened to the whole sentence.
The whole sentence. That's right. Everything is done in one sentence. Okay. Just let me put some specifics there.
Okay, there's guys in rooms with cold pizza working long and hard.
Exactly.
Okay.
For example, senior poverty used to be 27%, and then people worked very hard to pass Social Security, and now it's under 10%. Child poverty, we just saw an incredible drop in that.
How do you know it's under 10%?
Because they have government agencies who work on that. Are you suspicious that those stats aren't right?
Well, I do remember that once you were unemployed, after a certain amount of time, they just considered you not looking for a job and they took you off of it.
Okay, but we're talking about senior citizens. We're talking about senior citizens.
What the bankers did in 2008 ended up with me in 2012 when my roof collapsed from water. I had water damage.
I can't have a serious political discussion with the guy at the end of the bar who just anecdotally throws something like that out that has nothing to do with the reality.
Finish.
What?
Now who's not letting somebody finish?
Okay, finish.
All right, so I have insurance. It's my insurance. I pay for it. All right? So when the check comes out for my water damage on my roof, it's made out to me and my mortgage company, and I have to sign it over to them because of what they did in 2008. Because they fucked people so bad in houses,
yes,
and so many people were so upside down in houses that they were like, "What's the point of fixing the roof?" And then they would keep it, and then they would default on the loan, and then they get the houses back. So they did what they did, and then they made me pay for it, and I had to do it really slowly, and they came over like I was a child. Checking out, did you do the work and blah blah. Now we'll release some more money. And I could have paid for the whole fucking thing and just been done with it. And I had to sit there and be treated by a child by a bunch of fucking crooks.
Okay, I'm not. I can't even really engage. First of all, I don't contest any of that. 2008 and the meltdown was just horrendous on so many levels. And I'm very sorry about your roof, but I just can't engage on this level of we're talking about your roof.
You're not sorry about my roof.
It's so because that's anecdotal. Because you're trying to extrapolate from your roof to making a statement about America in general and how we solve problems. And of course, your roof is your roof, and that matters.
To do that.
It is silly.
Well, a few minutes ago, you said I was a lot smarter than I let on, and now you're talking down to me, saying, "Oh, your fucking roof," and I'm some guy at the end of the bar. Who am I, Bill? I am who you need me to be, depending on what your fucking argument is.
I would say you have potential to be.
I would still go see Bill Maher at the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden.
Are you throwing me out?
I'm not throwing you out.
I thought you were wrapping it up.
I was trying to break the tension.
Okay, I thought you were like going, I've had enough of this guy.
Dude,
no, I think what I'm saying is
all I do is argue.
You have the potential. The potential.
Oh, gee, thanks, Coach. I'll try a little harder. What book should I read? I'll become your little fucking protege.
Start with one, and then see if you like it. But
he doesn't think I read.
I do think you read.
What do you think I read?
I think you read Ted Williams' biography.
Guilty. Guilty. But occasionally, I do read other shit.
Do they have his head somewhere?
It's upside down. The nose is missing, and it's sitting on a can of tuna.
What does that mean?
Well, there's these flim-flam guys that came up with this idea that after you die, they could make you undead if they just froze you, right? And then some people.
But they really did it with him?
Some people couldn't afford to have the whole body frozen.
I see.
So then they would we can just do the head, and then we'll grow a body like.
But why him?
Because talent skips a generation, and his son couldn't hit a ball, and he needed to make money. I don't know why it happened. So he's evidently upside down.
Well,
and his head tipped over.
So he kind of is a splendid splinter now.
He is. He's a fucking mess. But he's not there anymore. That's just his vessel.
Can you imagine what
That's just, you believe in the afterlife.
Can you imagine?
That's just his vessel.
I do not. But can you imagine what his stats would be if he hadn't had those 2 stints in the armed services?
Yeah.
He went both in World War II and then again in Korea. If he had played those years, what?
No, I'm just like the guy that goes back to another war. I mean, I can't.
Well,
if that means you're like the biggest hero ever, or you're just a fucking psycho, like you just can't get enough of it.
No, I think.
Once I did a war, I'd be like, all right, I'm good.
Well, of course, that's
like
what you.
Pilot season.
No one wants to go back to a war, but people had a sense of responsibility.
I know they did. They were the greatest generation. Then they created you people. The boomers. Oh, Jesus
right.
Christ.
We're so different from you with our decade difference.
You are. You're still defending the Beatles.
Defending the Beatles? Like the Beatles need
That's
defense?
the name of this podcast. Bill Maher defends the Beatles.
Why do the Beatles need defending?
They don't.
Okay.
They actually, can I tell you something? They do. They do, because the generation behind me, there's a number of guys, like when I was in my 40s, if they were like in their 30s, they would say the Beatles are overrated. And my head almost exploded. I was like, you could not find any musician of any merit anywhere in the world to back that fucking statement. And then they would be like, Yellow Submarine.
Oh yeah,
Maxwell Silver Hammer. They go for soft targets.
And also, I've said this many times, the Beatles could put out an album called "The Worst of the Beatles," and it would still go to #1. But
how about the fact they were a boy band?
But they're.
And they started their own label. Dude, they should have been over in 2 summers.
Well,
and they figured out a way around it.
Well, because they kept putting out better and better amazing music.
I know.
But mixed in with that is some shit. And by the way, their lyrics, they definitely could write some good lyrics. They also wrote a lot of gobbledygook. And they wrote a lot of stuff that's just embarrassing doggerel. Like, the sun is up, the sky is blue, it's beautiful, and so is you. That's not a great lyric. It's just not.
Well, if you're commercial fishing for $1, that's fucking right on the money. I like that. That makes me feel good.
Commercial fishing. That's good. See? Look at you.
Yeah,
so smart.
I watch Deadliest Catch.
What's that?
It's a crab show.
A crab show?
There's these people that sit in rooms alone on boats all by themselves, and they risk their lives to go get a king crab for you.
How old are your kids?
5 and 2.
5 and 2?
Yeah.
Oh, you got young kids.
Yeah, I'm an old dad. I had a lot of shit to work out, Bill. I had a lot of books to not read before my kids got here.
Do you like them?
I love them.
Oh, good.
Yeah. No, I love my kids.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's a silly question.
That's a no.
No.
That is actually a very fair question.
Oh, good.
It is.
No, really. I'm glad I did something good.
No, I wasn't. Are you going to be all like sensitive after this?
I'm not sensitive.
We're not going to hug in the parking lot?
We're going to blow each other in the parking lot. Are you kidding? We're so past hugging.
No, there's people that just have kids because they think that's what you're supposed to do. And I have to tell you something. When you go down to the playground and you see those kids and they need that love and they're not getting it, it's one of the most heartbreaking things ever. And then you start seeing their kids behaving in a bad way towards your kids, and you're seeing the beginnings of an asshole adult, and you want to intervene. I feel like you can't.
What I see from the outside, and again, this is just from the outside, because I hate kids, but
I love it. You say that.
Kids either get way too much love, they're too overprotected by helicopter parents and bulldozer parents and parents who are way too in their lives, or what you're talking about here, they don't get enough. There's no happy medium.
And I would say that maybe you're doing what I did with my roof when it comes to kids.
Well, again, I preface that by saying I'm saying this from the outside. I don't have kids, but I
love that you say you hate kids, though.
I do.
There's a lot of people
never liked kids. Even when I was a kid, I didn't like kids. It's the one thing in my life. It has not changed at all in my life.
I think parents make people without kids hate kids because they won't quit gassing their kids up to you. You know, look at that. He just went over there.
Right.
And he just picked up his dirty shirt and put it in a hamper. He is
Exactly.
so smart. It's just like...
But they're so overprotected. I mean,
You want to be like, both of you are morons.
Like
two negatives doesn't make a positive. You like two dummies can't make an
we
Albert
just
Einstein.
had Halloween, right? And I was just thinking, parents would never let the kids go out alone. And when I was a kid, Halloween, of course, my parents come out trick-or-treating with me? What? Get the fuck out of here. I mean, that was my whole life. I used to come home from school I would fly up to my room after school, get into my play clothes, fly out the door. My mother never once said to me, "Where are you going?" Where am I going? Kid stuff. What the fuck is it to you? What do you do between 3 and 6, nosy bitch? I'm doing what I'm going to do.
Bill.
No,
you already
I
have the
didn't,
sport
I didn't
coat?
say that to my mother. But that's...
You had one of the best Halloween costumes I ever saw.
You're talking about the...
Crocodile Hunter?
Yes.
When the Crocodile
You remember
Hunter,
that.
Oh my God, I loved the Crocodile Hunter, but that fucking outfit was hilarious.
Right.
He
Right.
went out as the Crocodile Hunter.
Well, right after he was killed by
after he was killed by
the
a stingray.
stingray, yeah, I had the CBS prop department make that. It
They
was
got pissed
really
in Australia about
Oh,
that.
they told me I could not go to Australia. They said, "Do not." I'm not planning on going, but thank you for the note. I will not be going to Australia.
That
Yes.
was like such a stand-up comedian moment where it's like, what do you love?
Right.
I'm going to attack it.
I wore it to the Playboy Mansion. I remember for their Halloween party.
That's
it was
amazing.
awesome. Yeah.
Isn't it sad that place is gone?
Yes.
At
Well,
least for guys.
it's gone with the. It's a real Gone with the Wind. You know, a civilization gone with the wind.
I went there. I went to one party there.
Really.
Yeah, I did the Guy's Choice Award.
The
on,
Guy's
yep,
Choice.
Yep.
Oh
On
my
it was
God.
Total Meathead Night. I remember that the award was like antlers from like a deer.
Oh.
It was on one of those one of those meathead channels. It began with
Yes.
S. Spike TV.
Spike TV. I
guys
remember-
like to watch fucking chicks, bending over a roast beef sandwich. It was like literally that level of shit.
Right.
So we were doing. I was a presenter, Bill. Oh, I had moved up in the world. I was a presenter on the Guys' Choice Awards on Spike TV, and then the after party was the Playboy Mansion because guys like titties, right? So we go back there, and I thought we were gonna go in the house. We were just standing in his fucking backyard, looking at the pool, like, gee, I guess that's where Burt Reynolds used to bang 12 chicks. And we were just standing there, and then there was no playmates. It was all like Hooters level chicks just walking around. It was just like, oh, and he was roped off. You couldn't talk to him.
It got sad.
And he had his
Captain's hat. Yeah.
Which, that was if you were born in the 20s. At some point, you wore a captain's hat. Whether you even had a license to drive a boat, you just started walking around with a captain's hat.
That's funny.
Yeah. So that was and I stayed there for about 40 minutes.
Right.
I don't remember who I was with. I was like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I'm standing in somebody's yard.
Right.
And he won't let me in the house. I'm obviously not wanted here.
Right.
He clearly looks like he wants to go to bed. And
Right.
I just got my car. I did try to walk down the driveway to see the zoo. He had
The
a
zoo.
Yeah, he had a zoo.
It wasn't near the driveway. It was back in the yard. Yeah, he had a zoo.
back in the yard?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
all right. Well, it explains why I didn't see it.
It was. You didn't miss a lot. There's some monkeys that should not have been in cages. Lots of things that should not.
I don't know how
cages.
this didn't become a show. In the last years of his life, he was attempting to sell the house, but the rule was you had to
Yes.
buy the house, but he got to keep living there.
Until he.
And I'm like,
Yes.
that is the Bosom Buddies reboot right there. Like some young
Right.
influencer buys the house.
Well, they did.
moves in.
I mean, he did live there until he died, but he did not own the house in the last years. That's absolutely true. That's how it went down.
'Cause
And he
was
didn't own the
'cause He was
magazine.
in the magazine business, or
Well, because I mean, they had, the Playboy had fallen on hard times. Playboy was kind of a victim of its own success because the sexual revolution, which they sort of helped along, overtook them. I mean, when the Playboy clubs first opened and the girls were in the bunny costumes, that was about the most risque thing you could see a woman wearing in public.
Right.
And at a certain point, women were wearing less on the street. So the Playboy Club became very passé, and that's why they closed.
and they closed that. And he was really
Yeah.
at the forefront of booking guys like Dick Gregory and all that.
Absolutely.
He was
I mean, look, things have come out recently that have not shed very flattering light on what went on in the Playboy Mansion. I mean, I was there for parties. I never saw anything, but I was never privy to the inner sanctums of anything. But, you know, I'm sure some shit went down that shouldn't have gone down. But
Just picturing you doing blow with like Dom DeLuise.
I never did blow with Dom DeLuise.
This collage of people that
Dom
I saw
DeLuise.
on 70s. Everybody's in like a robe with
But
chest
there
hair.
was a lot of 70s detectives there. One thing I'll say one thing about Hugh Hefner. He was very loyal. Like once you got on that list, you could not get off it. Robert Blake was still walking around there, and Hunter and Longstreet and every 70s detective was still roaming around there. Fred Dryer, absolutely.
Oh my
All
God.
of them were there. But in the 50s and 60s, Hefner was on the forefront of a lot of civil rights issues that became, gay rights and African American rights. He was really quite a revolutionary at that time. No, he just stayed too long at the fair, and
That's what happens.
I don't understand why, in his older years, like when he had that harem, it's like, we get it. You got a lot of pussy. You know, I mean, you're Hugh Hefner. You don't have to gild the lily. And also, he used to go out. The coolest thing about him and the Playboy Mansion was that he never left the house. When it was Chicago, the party came to him. And then I used to see him at the fucking Garden of Eden nightclub with his roped-off area and 7 chicks. I'm like, why are you going out to this shitty fucking disco when you have the Playboy Mansion? That was so cool about you. What are you doing out?
Does that scare you as like a performer? Because whenever I see that, I'm like, oh my God, is that going to be me? I mean, obviously I'm not going to have a harem of chicks, but it's whatever that version of me is, where I'm sitting there.
No, it doesn't scare me
wearing
at all.
a Comedy
because
Central T-shirt in my 90s. I did things.
No, because you're continually on the ascent. By the way, you're a very good actor. You were really great in, I don't know what the name of it was, but you were fucking somebody's mom, and you were...
Oh, that was King of... That was the working title of that movie.
King
of Staten Island.
Yes. Fantastic.
That was fun.
You can pull that off. So you can have...
them again.
But... I mean, you're going to have more of a career as an actor. I mean, you know, you're hopefully never going to give up stand-up because you're very great at that.
I appreciate that.
But it's true. But, I mean, why would you think that you are going to devolve into some caricature of yourself?
Because, I mean, you see a guy that was like bigger than life.
Right.
Elvis died alone on a toilet. I mean, he couldn't get any bigger than him.
That's our advantage, is that we as comics never get to that level. You never get to that level. No, seriously, we don't.
No,
We're not musicians. That gets to people on a certain level, and when it does, it fucks up the person at the eye of the storm because they just go nuts. And not to make everything about the Beatles again, but one great thing that I admire about the Beatles is that they were bigger than anybody ever, and they still came out pretty sane and normal and nice.
Did you ever see them live?
Of course not. Yes,
like
because once
26?
again, I'm 100 years old, Bill. I mean, I was 8 when they arrived in America. I was not ready to go to a concert.
Yeah, but they played till like 70, so by then you were like 26?
They did not. They quit in 66, as everyone knows.
Oh, touring.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I was 10. I wasn't going to go to a concert.
As everyone knows.
As everyone does know.
They don't know that.
They broke up in 70, but they stopped touring in 66. But the one thing I do admire about them is that with all that fame, they never did anything that made the fan go, ugh.
I know.
What a dick. You know, I mean, John went a little kooky, but it wasn't like in a way that made you hate him as a person. He did heroin for a while, and went a little loony with, put out right, stuff like that. But it wasn't malicious, and it wasn't about his ego.
It wasn't erect. He's plastic.
Right. It should have been, because it looked bad. Like, I mean, if you're going to show your junk,
you got to have a shower, man.
I mean, Jesus
you gotta
Christ.
A little bit. All right, go ahead.
I always think of that the famous David, the statue David, that the guy, the
one no arms?
The David. No, that's Venus de Milo.
All right, one of those. All right, I'm going to tell you, I got to go to my feet. That time I was in Italy, right? me and my wife went to the Sistine Chapel.
Okay.
So we're in that thing, it's boring as shit, right? There's the quick one. There's the quick one where you
The
get...
Sistine Chapel is
Oh, my
boring?
God. If you take the long route where there's all the broken plates and every fucking spoon, every pope fucking, had his cereal with. I mean, it's just... I don't give a fuck about old dishes.
I don't remember that part of it.
Oh my! Well, if you bang a right or a left, you can avoid it. And we fucked up, and we went the long fucking everybody's fucking James Brown robe that did mass or whatever. We get all the way out there. And we're standing there, and it's ridiculously small fucking room, and it's all shh, like shut the fuck up. So I'm standing there, I'm looking at it, and it was nice, right? So I say to my wife, because it was so fucking long, I said to her, I go, if I lived here, I would open a bar across the street called the 17 Chapel. She was like, "What?" I go,
the 16.
I go, the 16 Chapel,
Oh,
17.
God.
That's when she looked at me. She goes, "It's the Sistine."
Oh Lord, I can't. I can't, and I can't even. It's both on that one.
No.
Oh,
I just knocked over my water bottle. No, but like, what is that, like a manly thing to know? Like you got to know what
it's not a manly thing to know. It's just a thing to know. The Sistine Chapel is fairly famous. Yes.
Right, let's end on this. Can you give me all my meathead? I've loved every second of this, by the way.
I have too.
Okay, all right.
And when you do Club Random, my podcast,
absolutely.
And by the way, mine, I am so high. I don't know if you smoke pot, but I smoke it a lot, and that's the whole point of Club Random. It's not political. You don't have to know anything. We actually got to
break up your weed on the White Album.
Yes, exactly. I do. That's exactly how I smoke weed.
Far out. I'll do it.
But I've had so much fun with this podcast because it's a place where I specifically started it for people like you who were not comfortable on real time, but who I wanted to know and who are very smart people. They just are not. Most people's antenna is not tuned toward the political. I mean, one reason why you sell so many more tickets than I could on the road is because I'm sort of tagged as a political comedian, which is really only partly true. Anyone could come to my show November 12th at the Hulu Theater, New York, in Madison Square Garden.
Nice. Love the promo.
And enjoy it, even if you're not political, even if you know as little as Bill Burr. Wait, I didn't say that right.
No,
but it's really true.
Fair.
But you have the reputation of being more of an everyman. I mean, I would love to be able to not have to do your podcast. Wait, that came out wrong too. What I'm saying is,
is that why you're here? We need to get to the ham and egg guys.
I'm here for that reason. But I also really did want to get to know you better. I really am an admirer. You are a great stand-up comedian. You truly are. You deserve all the success you have. And
right back at you.
And I also want you to do Club Random. I want you to sit.
I will.
Because you'll find it's very different than any other podcast.
Okay. Well, here's the thing.
Really
you said that's something you should know with the Sistine Chapel. All right. So, there's a lot of guys like me who and women who watch this podcast or listen to it.
Right.
So just so we don't do something like that, do you have just off the top of your head, what are the 5 things you feel the average person should know? They're at a cocktail party, if they still have those, and you don't say something done like the 16 Chapel.
Oh, that's not important. What's important for people to know are things like the system of government we have is based on checks and balances. That's important because we're about to lose really the most fundamental part of being an American. There's an election. I don't want to get on my high horse about this stuff. It's not really what this is about. But there is an election in a couple of days, and we are going to elect about 300 people into Congress who don't believe in democracy, who don't believe that the person who gets the most votes wins. They don't care about that.
Now, how do you think we ended up there?
Oh, we don't have time to go through all that. There are a whole. I am a big proponent of that idea.
I think we're all
the smartphone made us so stupid.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Guilty.
But it's also the schools. You can't expect people to miss democracy if they were never taught what it was supposed to be in the first place. If you say to somebody, we're losing our sense of checks and balances, their answer is, "What's that?" And if you don't know what it is or why it's important, then they're not going to miss it when it goes away. They're just going to say, is the Masked Singer still on? Because that's what I care about.
Well,
and
I'll tell
also
you
the price of Pop-Tarts is through the roof. So I'm going to vote, Republican. Right. So, okay, do that. But I'm telling you, things are going to change fundamentally in this country after this election. And
because you think those guys are going to win?
Well, they're definitely going to win.
Are they on both sides?
No. Seriously, no.
Oh, are you one of those? Because I don't subscribe to that there's only bad guys on one side.
I don't either, and I say it all the time. Okay. I mean, I'm on Fox News all the time because I will I will take on.
Is that like going to the ground round of news places?
No, it's just that that I am very much a critic of what goes on the fringe of the left. I mean, woke culture has that's one reason why the Republicans are going to do so well in this election, because the left has gone super crazy with lots of shit that the average American just never voted for, doesn't recognize in this country, doesn't want, and
pay attention to.
And doesn't, yeah. So, but there is only one side. That's pretty true. That does not believe in the idea that the guy who gets the most votes wins. I mean, Hillary Clinton thought for sure she had it in the bag in 2016. But before the sun came up, she fucking got in her black suit with her purple lapels and came down and conceded the election to Donald Trump. He still hasn't conceded the last election. And when it comes time for this next election, it doesn't matter whether he wins or loses. He's going to show up on Inauguration Day. And this time he's got those 300 people behind him who are going to back his bullshit. And that's when the rubber's going to hit the road.
Oh, you're saying so even if you feel like even if he doesn't, he's going to have the people to say that he did.
Correct. That's what he didn't have last time.
That's fascinating.
It is. Politics is fascinating. You should watch my show.
No. No, I just think it's amazing that...
You don't have to do it. You just watch it.
He went to that dinner or whatever, and they stuck him right in the fucking middle so they could humiliate him. Obama and all those guys.
Well, he deserved...
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but... The fact that guy then came back and took that dude's job was like wrestling.
Yes.
Watching that, like when you think Hulk's not going, last time his head was down, it stops. And he starts doing this shit. Like that
it was a gangster move.
It was.
It was. But, I mean, he had spent years saying Obama was not an American, saying Obama was a fake and that he was from Kenya. I mean, it was horrible and racist what he did. And so Obama had every right to make fun of him, which was fairly gentle. I mean, it was funny. I mean, it was great.
I find the whole thing... you have to laugh at it because you know it's depressing. It's depressing to watch people on both sides absolutely lose their minds and not be rational. Like we went out to fucking Halloween last night, right? Or what is it? 2 nights ago?
Yeah.
Last night? 2 nights ago. Yeah, 2 nights ago. And we're going down the street and everybody's got their scary shit or whatever. And somebody had a politically themed fucking Halloween thing. And I was just sitting there thinking like how much it changed, where it's just like, first of all, who the fuck is going to look at that and be like, I was going to vote for this guy, but now that I saw that jack-o'-lantern, Actually, wait a minute. I made a Federal Reserve one way back in the day. Scariest thing I could think of was the Federal Reserve.
Wow. Look at that. You know about the Federal Reserve.
Well, that was my joke about Trump. It's not that he had the insurrection. He sent him to the wrong fucking building. That's what it was. They should have gone after those. See?
Look at that.
I know a little bit. And the guy with the new shows backs me up. Didn't on the Astros, but he does in the Federal Reserve. The legendary Bill Maher, who's been fucking towing the line and saying what the fuck he feels to the point of losing a TV show, which nobody did. Nobody did back then. Is going to be at the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden.
Thank you. November 12th.
Saturday, November 12th. Part of the New York Comedy Festival?
Correct.
Bing, bang, boom. Just
Great
like
to
that.
see you.
Bill Maher, everybody. Thank you for watching. Dude, that was fun.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's the Monday Morning Podcast for Monday, November 3rd, 2014. How you doing? Jesus Christ. I'm trying to get comfortable here is what's going on. I'm actually doing this, my podcast in a studio, which I never do. I always do it at home. Laying in my fucking underwear. Right? Now I'm in a studio. The all-new All Things Comedy Network podcast studios. One of the first guys over here to do my podcast. And I have to tell you, it's a wonderful experience so far. And I already know what some of you assholes are going to say now that I've given that information that I'm not doing my podcast lying down. You go, dude, you're funny when you're not seated. You're going to sit there and break my balls about that? I don't give a shit. Go ahead and do it, because by the time you give me shit, this thing is already recorded, and what the fuck do I care? I've gotten on with my life. I'm down the street having a snow cone. You know? That's the life I'm living. Huh? When did that "you're not about this life" hit the white mainstream? If I hear one more white person fucking say that, like that's going to be the next African-American expression that they're going to have, like old white grandmothers saying in fucking cheesy comics. Sorry, cheesy comedies. Why when I sip that, did it sound like a fart there? I just sipped some water there. You're not about this life? Oh, shit, the old white lady said the thing the young black kids say. If only she could give the finger and there was an orangutan, you'd have yourself a comedy. All right, so how the hell are you? I had a long-ass friggin' week and weekend. Ended up going to a wedding. You guys like going to those things? Going to weddings. You know what I loved about this wedding? There was no dancing. Okay, and when you're as white as me, that is a very enjoyable moment. You know what I mean? Oh, my God, there's going to be booze, and there's going to be no dancing, and you're going to have a quick, beautiful ceremony. Is there any way I can retroactively pay for this beautiful service? It was tremendous. It's one of the best weddings I've been to. So I want to thank those two people who got married for having such a wonderful, beautiful, yet quick service. That's what you want, by the way. When you get married, all you people out there fucking torturing everyone with your long-ass ceremonies, you know? Like you're the king and queen of one of those stupid countries with the pasty people over there in Europe. Who else has a king and queen left over in Europe? Is it like England? They're like the Wrigley Field of governments over there, right? They got these fucking jerk-offs who just won't stop fucking each other because they got the same kind of bloodline. So then all of them sort of, in a roundabout way, look like the English version of Eli and Peyton Manning. You know? That's the deal, dude. Like, when you fuck, okay, or at least when you go to procreate, you got to get outside your circle. Okay? You got to run a post pattern. Get off your block. You know what I mean? You can't start banging the girl next door. She's right there. She smelled your toast and all the shit you were eating. I'm telling you, you're going to get like a fucking, I don't know, you're going to get one of those weird kids. Who never wants to leave the town, right? All he dreams about is driving a fucking truck to plow the snow. You know? It was a big thing when I was in Massachusetts, you know, getting a fucking state job. All those guys. You know, as fucked up and angry and on edge and as racist as Massachusetts is, people always goes, why are they liberal? Why do they still vote Democrat? It's because the amount of people there that want to get a state job so they can lean on a fucking shovel or drive one of those orange pickup trucks like a half a mile an hour in the breakdown lane. Dude, you're driving too fast. Fucking slow it down. This is supposed to take all day. I knew a guy a long time ago. I worked in a warehouse, and he quit the postal service because he was bored out of his mind. He was a young kid, and he knew somebody, and he got in with the post, working for the post office, and he went out and he did his route, and he was done with it by 11. And the old timers go, "What the fuck are you doing here? Get out of here! Don't come back till 4 o'clock. You're gonna fuck this whole thing up." So he went out and he went to the movies and got like a sandwich and came back. And he just, because he was raised right, he couldn't live a life like that right now. You know what I love is there's possibly somebody who works one of those jobs listening right now. And I want to ask you, how do you live with yourself? How do you get up every morning taking 8 hours to do a fucking 2-hour job? How do you do that shit? You know what I mean? Do you really feel like you're getting away with something? That would just be torture. Just imagine, whatever. Just make anything take 4 times longer than it should. Right? Cooking yourself an egg in the morning. Cooking it on low. Just sitting there. Fucking, rather than the thing being ready in 3 minutes, 12 minutes later, there's a fucking fried egg. That's the worst example ever. But you know what I mean. Step on the gas pedal, you piece of shit. No, it's awful. I'm so pro-union, it's ridiculous, but I feel like so many of the unions literally became what the fuck they were fighting, and then they just became assholes, and then the corporations were like, well, fuck you then. Keep your union, and we'll take the factory. We will move it elsewhere. Oh, look at this. It's a third world country. Are there any laws even down here? Fuck it. We'll go back to playing people the way we did before the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire there. Look at me. Oh, who took a double-decker tour bus in fucking New York? I did. This guy. All right, what? I just fucking leaned back too far in the chair and I disconnected it. You know what? This is a brand new studio, so we're going to have some glitches. It was a glitch. The hatch just blew. Anyway, so these fucking people were making shirts. And when you made shirts back then, you had a little bit of waste. You had shirt waste. Long story short, somebody threw a fucking cigarette in there. I don't know what happened. They didn't have any fire escapes, and the goddamn doors were locked, and everybody had to, basically jump to their fucking deaths. And that was the reference. It's not a very funny reference, but it is a reference. Speaking of which, did you guys see that Virgin airplane that goes out into space crashed? Fucking terrifying is that. Dude, the balls to be a test pilot. To go up there. All right, we designed this thing. Now, on paper, this thing should work. And then you have to go up there and basically see if it works. And then once it works, you have to start seeing how big the fucking, what the envelope within this thing can perform in, which basically involves the whole pushing the envelope. Like, whatever. Just say you flew a helicopter and they said you can't go beyond 102 knots or else you'd get fucking retreating blade stall. Like, how do you learn how to do that? That means some motherfucker has to go 103 knots, 104. Because, when they say it's 102, they still stop it way before. But, I mean, somebody had to have the balls to just keep pushing that stick forward. I mean, what? They think stand-up comics are fucking psychos? To be a test pilot, I mean... And then, what's the worst thing about that is what excites you after that once you're on the fucking ground? Oh, honey, look, I'm so happy you're home. Look what I did. I rearranged the furniture here. Isn't this great? It just, opens up the room, don't you think? Why do you just stare at me like that when I say things? I'm sorry. I'm not 30,000 feet off the fucking ground. I'm down here I'm holding down the fort for you. Where you coming from, huh? Did you get another blowjob after one of your test flights? And what does he do? He just stares at her, right? Maybe starts laughing like Ray Liotta in Goodfellas. That fucking laugh. So he's wiping his eye, and he goes back out to a rocket ship with Joe Pesci. What the fuck kind of people are they? That's your life. And you can't relate to anybody anymore. That's the deal. Everybody's looking at you like, what's your fucking problem? It's like, what's my fucking problem? I've been I went to the moon. That's my problem. And I'm talking to you who, went to the Patriots-Broncos game. And you got your fucking eyebrows up like what you just did was exciting. And I'm sorry. I'm having a little difficult time relating to you right now. And his wife is giving him shit. You have to stop bringing up the fact that you've been to space. That you test pilots. You test airplanes. Anyway, so they got this plane that goes up into space. I mean, and they're just going to go try this fucking thing out. The balls of those guys. Unfortunately, it didn't fucking work out. Dude, there is no fucking way. Do you realize the amount of fucking jackasses / former members of boy bands that are just lining up to pay $200,000 to be the first fucking jerk-off. Absolute fucking jerk-off to get on one of those things. Okay, if you got $200,000 to do it, keep it in your pocket. All right? Let other people be the test pilot passengers for this fucking thing. You don't do that. It's like when a new fucking iPhone comes out, when they came up with that LASIK eye surgery. And people were getting blinded and they were fucking it up because it was new. You don't fuck with new technology, is all I'm saying. fucking idiots. I want to go up in space. You're nuts. You're nuts. What would you know what? I actually got to think here. What would I rather do? What would you rather do? Would you rather risk your life going into space or go scuba diving? To me, those are the two probably most terrifying things I've ever seen in my life. Oh, yeah, I got to tell you, this weekend, I fucking, when I went to that wedding, there was I was out in Palm Desert and stayed at this really cool hotel that had this basically lounge act. And I don't want to disrespect the person, but it was a lounge, and he was doing his act, right? And, older guy, he was like in his 60s or whatever, and he was singing the shit out of these Frank Sinatra songs. He was great, really was great. And it was fun watching the older people watch the guy, because in the end he had all this whole patriotic thing that he did, like a salute to the troops, except it was real. You know what I mean? It's just a different time. Like, these guys are like, well, wait a minute. He was born in 1949, I think. I looked him up. So he would have been 20 in 1969. Oh, fuck that. He's probably the Woodstock generation. Anytime I see old people, like, saluting the flag, I just think they fought in World War II. I think I watched too many episodes of that Ken Burns the War. But whatever. It was a nice thing. And the veterans in the crowd stood up, a bunch of old guys and all that. It was a really nice thing. But in between, he was telling these, he was 100% Sicilian. He was telling these fucking old school jokes that, of course, would bomb in a comedy club. But within the context of what he was doing, they were great. And one of the things he said, I'm 100% Sicilian. My birthstone is cement or something like that, which is obviously, fucking, hey, old-time joke, but it just reminded me of one of the worst deaths. I've actually thought about this, like if somebody ever, wanted to take you out and you're standing on a fucking boat in cement that's drying and it's at night and they're taking you out into the ocean and they're just going to toss you fucking overboard. I would be just standing there weeping, just going, just shoot me. Just fucking, they'd be like, we can't, man. The blood splatter. We're going to get caught. Well, can you fucking shoot me as you throw me in? Just give me a gun. Right as you throw me in, I'm going to pull the trigger. Is that all right? I'll count to 1,000. No, I'll already be in the water. It won't work. Like, what happens? Is there any medical person out there? Is it a quick death? I just can't imagine. You're fucking going down, waiting for your goddamn head to explode. And then you'd want to, like, somehow, like, just take a big gulp of water to end it. And you couldn't. Your body wouldn't let you fucking... Oh, my God. You know what just kills me about that is you just keep going down and down and down and down. Way past where all the fucking submarines anybody's ever fucking gone. You're going to keep going. Now, granted, the pressure is going to fucking cave you in at some point, right? Just the fucking weight of that water. It'd be worse if your survival instinct kicked in and you kept clearing your ears as you went down for as long as you fucking could. You just, as you fucking were going down. Like, just some futile attempt to just survive. You keep clearing the fucking air out of your eustachian tubes, so your fucking eardrums don't explode. Oh, Christ. What a fucking way to go. And that's all. I actually zoned out as he was singing, "What is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he is shot." Right? I just kept, the whole time he was singing that. To speak the words he truly feels. Right? I was just picturing going down to the bottom of the ocean in cement shoes. And not the words of one who deals. It was like this little Goodfella film was going on in my head. I mean, granted, I was a couple scotches in. Oh, you know what? So, it was a buddy of mine who got married, and I was supposed to get him some cigars. And I've been so busy with my day job, writing on the, or sitting in the room pitching jokes on the soon-to-be hit animated show in December of 2015, F is for Family. I'm going to hype this fucking show. I'm going to hype this fucking show for a year, so you guys you've got to get ready. That's, you know what I'm literally doing, like, when they said this, when they hyped it and when it's actually coming out, it's like how long it takes for a guy on the Mass Pike to drive to a pothole fucking a mile away. Anyway, so I didn't have time to get the cigars, right? So I got a hookup out here to get the old fucking Cubanos there. And anyways, this I didn't do it. So I go out to Palm Desert, and I'm like, all right, there's all these old fucking staunch Republicans out here. They all got money. They all like playing golf. They like smoking fucking cigars. I know they got Cuban cigars. So I just don't go to a smoke shop. I look for a high-end fucking place that actually has a little bit of a lounge thing, right? Fucking wooden Indian outside and shit, all the old school stuff. So I find one, right? And I walk in there and I'm just like, hey, man, it's my buddy's, he got married today. I'm in between the wedding ceremony and the after party. I was supposed to get cigars. I fucked up. Can you help me out? So he goes, yeah, sure. Come on in the humidor. So I say to the guy, hey, you got any Monte Cristo or, Partagas, any fucking, basically. And he goes, I go, you got some Cuban cigars? He goes, well, I got these over here. And I go, you got any Cuban cigars? And he goes, Cuban cigars are illegal in the United States of America. Ugh. Just wanted to fucking slap him in the face with a book of matches. Oh, really? Thank you. Like I don't fucking know that? Jesus fucking Christ. Well, maybe because I look like a cop, he said it. I mean, what the... Heroin is not legal within the United... I know it isn't. I'd still like some. I'm asking you to do an illegal transaction here. I have cash. I'm willing to... I've never fucking been, Every place I go to out here, you just fucking ask them. They have them in the back. And this is what's funny, is people say this shit, right? They'll go, actually, like 99.99999% of the fucking Cuban cigars in this country are fake. And you know what? They're wrong. Because I've been outside this country and I've smoked them and they taste the exact same. And then they're going to say, well, once Castro fucking blah, 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 all those companies fucking moved out of Cuba. Go fuck yourself with your theories. You read an article on one of those websites that have lists. I don't give a shit. All I know is that the Cuban cigar that I smoked in Paris, France, tastes the same as the one out here. Okay, so whatever it is, and that thing tastes way better than all of the fucking legal ones. All those other ones that they say, oh, this Davidoff, fucking Nicaraguan, tastes better. They'll test it higher than the Cuban ones. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. You're still comparing them to Cuban cigars, and there's a reason for it. It's just like how every fucking car compares itself to something German or Italian or whatever, right? This is like a Ferrari, except it's only $40,000. By the way, I'm going to talk cars here for a second. I got to, what do I got to do here? I got to read some of the advertising for this week. Bill's going to put on his fucking horseshoes here. He's going to read the advertising. All right, live reads. Bingo, bango. All right. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3 this week, people. There's only 3. Let's say we just knock them all out right here. All right, let's talk cars. So I've been threatening that I was going to buy a new car. The old Prius is getting old. The old fucking Prius, she ain't what she used to be. Actually, to be honest with you, all I need to do is get a little interior work done. Just freshen her up. But, there's a couple cars out there that I got my eye on. One of them was a Mercedes-Benz. And AMG, fucking psycho level car, right? And yesterday, I saw one on the highway. Has this ever happened to you? You see your fucking dream car, you see the car you want to, and then you drive up and you're like, I just got to see what the person looks like that's driving it. I bet they look like an astronaut, fucking test pilot or some shit, right? A war hero. I pulled up along this car. This guy could not have looked like more of a fucking dirtbag. He was like in his 20s. He just looked like a fucking... I can't explain it because I'll get in trouble. And not really by the fucking politically correct police, just by, this nationality of people. Like, they're like, if pit bulls became human beings, it just looked like a fuck. Like, if I ever had a daughter and this guy showed up at the door to date her, I don't know what I would do. I would do something fucking crazy, and then I would start weeping afterwards. He just looked like the biggest piece of shit ever, and I was just like, am I a piece of shit? Well, I am a piece of shit, but am I that kind of a piece of shit? Is that what I'm going to look like? But then if I get the car, other people will be, oh, that's my dream car, and they're going to pull up alongside him and see fucking Ron Howard driving the thing. It's going to ruin it for him. I think Mercedes-Benz ought to pay me not to buy one of their cars. Or at least give a free tinted window package to me so it doesn't fucking hurt their product. I don't know, but I'm going to get one for this, and this is what I'm doing. I'm waiting. Right now I can get the car, but I have to wait till the downstairs is done in my house. Because that is a bad fucking move. You don't want to go out and buy a new car when people are doing work on your house, because they'll just think like, okay, this guy isn't spreading himself too thin. This guy is just bottomless. All right, it's not fucking true. I mean, you can get yourself in any car for like $1,500 now. Sign a goddamn lease on the thing. They don't give a shit. They give you fucking 8 miles a month. Oh, that sounds good, right? You drive home, you're already over the miles. Any fucking jerk. That's the thing now about cars. Back in the day when you had to buy them, you actually had to be able to afford them. So when somebody came down the street in a Cadillac or Mercedes or something like that, you could look at that man. And it was a man, because those bitches stayed home back then, right? It was a fucking man, and you could look and hold your head high and go, I wonder who the fuck he robbed to get that goddamn car. What did he do? That's the great thing about being an entertainer, is people, you got to admit, entertainers, we earned our money. We started out in the fucking lounges, I'm totally doing this, lobbing it over the net, so you fucking cunts out there can actually rip me apart and say that I don't deserve it. No, I think I just got to get through this fucking build. Once they just finish this fucking thing, it's almost done, people. They put in the hardwood floors. Okay, I have floors downstairs now. They're putting a tile in the fucking laundry room. That's going to be done. Everything's going to fucking make sense. Do you know my fucking washer and dryer were in a closet off of my kitchen? Does that make any fucking sense? We put them downstairs. Now we turned the laundry room upstairs into a walk-in pantry. All right? So I can resell it someday. Because one thing I've learned about women, they like being able to walk into something where they can put a bunch of shit. They don't want a closet. They want to walk into the closet. Oh my God, look at this. I can walk in and put all my stuff here. They're in a kitchen. They like the kitchen. But if they can walk into a pantry, I can put the flour over here and a mixer over there. I can walk into it. That's what you want to do. Like if I was still a single man, I would build like some sort of walk-in closet, like a mini one, like leading to my dick, right? And then you just go out to the... Actually, didn't Justin Timberlake do that? He put his dick in a box. Not every idea is going to be original. Anyways, so anyway, can I give you guys a little bit of promotion here at the All Things Comedy Network? That was it's a podcast network that I started with Al Madrigal and a couple other fellers, and it's basically it's basically owned and operated by stand-up comics, and we don't own anybody's podcast. We don't try to fuck anybody out of money, all right? But things do cost money, so we're having this fundraiser here. The All Things Comedy $5 fundraiser starts today, all right? Our goal is to outfit the new All Things Comedy studio in Hollywood with a professional quality AV equipment. Go to tubestart.com, buy a sticker that says, I support All Things Comedy for $5, shipping included. The All Things Comedy Live podcast number 4, by the way, is available today on iTunes. Subscribe, rate, and review it. This episode features John Heffron, Jackie Kashane, I'm the worst reader ever, Dean Del Rey, myself, Al Madrigal, and Felipe Esparza. You got to listen to him. Did I say his name right? Esparza. I'm the fucking worst. And you know what? It's such a fucking crime that I didn't say his name correctly, because he had the best goddamn stories I've ever heard. You got to listen to it. I'm such a white guy from the fucking East Coast. Anything remotely Latino, I can't even pronounce it. That's embarrassing. I've listened to all of his fucking comedy, too. What a piece of shit I am. Anyways, check it out. It's going to be on iTunes. All right, let's get back to the podcast. Can we talk a little football? Yeah, I'm not going to brag about the Patriots beating the Broncos. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to act like, Tom Brady is better than fucking Peyton Manning. I'm not going to do that shit. I'm not going to do that, all right? The record speaks for itself. Head-to-head matchups. I hate when people do that. Well, at least 7-2 against the lifetime. Well, I guess that means he's a better quarterback. I think it all comes down to, when you had your opportunities, what did you do with them? All right? That's basically what it is. Because everything else is you got everybody else on the fucking field. People always come up with a reason to blame it on the biggest guy, and I don't think that's necessarily fair. All right? Although that pick six he threw against the Saints was his fault. I'll give him shit on that one. But I also think Brady should have hit Wes Welker. Guy was fucking wide open. He threw to the back shoulder. Welker Osha should have caught it. It's just a fucking shame. And then what happened? Next thing you know, Eli, the fucking middle child, ends up with more rings than Peyton. Figure that one out. But the thing about Eli that you got to love about that guy is as much as he looks like he always has a cold, the bigger the game, the better he plays. So I fucking love that guy, despite the fact his team kicked my team's ass twice in the Super Bowl. But you know what? When you've won three others, I guess it's okay. I realize the Patriots have been in, I think, more Super Bowls. How many have we been in? Let's see. We lost to the Bears. We lost to the Packers. We beat the Rams. We beat the Panthers. We beat the Eagles. We lost to the Giants. We lost to the Giants. So that's 7. Our record is 3-4. I think the Cowboys have been in the most Super Bowls. What's their deal? They lost to the Colts. Then they beat Miami. Right? So those were 2. Then Miami beat the Redskins. And then Steelers beat the Cowboys. Then the Cowboys beat the Broncos. Then Steelers beat the Cowboys. So that's 5. They've been in 8. And then they beat the Bills twice. And then they beat the Steelers. So they've been in 8. Patriots have been in 7 Super Bowls. How the fuck did that happen? They're the goddamn doormats of the league. Playing in that high school football stadium. Unbelievable. But, I'm not going to brag about shit. We also let up 21 points. We still suck against the run. And it's also a regular season game and all that type of shit. So, like I said, I'm not going to really fucking brag about that. I am happy that we won and all that type of shit. But I got to be honest with you. I have no idea who the best team is right now. Can somebody explain to me the San Diego Chargers? What the fuck is that? Like, if you bet on football this year, you're out of your mind at this point. You should just cut your losses and go home. 37-0 against the Dolphins? No disrespect to the Dolphins, but the fucking Dolphins, 37-0. I missed the whole game, so I should just shut the hell up. I was at that not stupid event. I was doing that event thing. That's a sports fan of me saying that it was stupid. But whatever. So I have no idea. I don't know who's shot. I don't know who's not. I don't know who's good. I really don't. And but the Patriots look how the Patriots look every year to me. Since we stopped winning Super Bowls. So, I think we're once again, I love that we're somehow number 1 against the pass. That's great, but I don't know. It'd be nice if we could have been at least 7th against the run as opposed to like dead last. I'm quoting somebody from last week. I might be wrong about that, but so whatever. I hope whatever. I know we're going to make the playoffs, obviously, because our division fucking stinks. And I don't know. What about the Jets? Jesus fucking Christ. 1-8. Thank God for the Raiders. Or they'd have the worst team in the league. Unbelievable. I'll tell you right now. You know who's going to be a fucking bargain to pick up is Rex Ryan when they fire that guy. Because that guy is a good coach. I don't like that he talks shit and disrespects other fucking teams. And he does. And it comes from a place of insecurity, I think. And then he tries, no, you can't get mad at me. I respect people. Shut the fuck up. You ran your mouth when you had a good team. Now your team stinks, and now you're not talking. So maybe he is a good guy. Maybe he did learn his lesson. I'm going to wait for Rex Ryan to have another good team. And if he doesn't talk shit, then I'll be like, all right. He kind of learned a lesson then. But I think most of the reason why he's kept his mouth shut is because his team has stunk. However, I will say this, that team is not his fault. You got to get rid of that GM. coach is only as good as the players. I sound like one of those stupid analysts on fucking ESPN, but it's true. The guy, he doesn't have anybody. And Geno Smith, from what I heard, was that GM's. That was his big fucking pick. You know, what are you supposed to do? So, whatever. So he's going to get blamed. He's going to get fired. The GM's going to get fired, and then someone's going to pick up Rex Ryan. I think, you know, if he gets with the right GM, I think, you know, that guy took the Jets to like within 2 plays, or 1 drive, I should say, of getting to the Super Bowl. The fucking Jets. That's an accomplishment in itself, you know? So, I don't know. It's weird. I remember for the longest time, I just wish the Jets would lose, and I fucking hated Rex Ryan because he was talking all that shit, and I wanted to see the guy flame out exactly what the fuck's happening. And now it's happening, and I feel bad for the guy because I feel like what's going on is not his fault. I wanted him to lose with the fucking players that he picked because he talked all that fucking shit. You know, we're going to win a Super Bowl. We're the best fucking team in this fucking league. All of that shit. Just drove me up the goddamn wall. But now it's I can't root for a guy to lose his job. Can I? Yeah, Jesus, I don't know. Anyways, how much time have I done here, by the way, Mike? Well, we started over, didn't we? Or this is the real time? 37 minutes. All right. 37 minutes in. All right. What the fuck else am I going to talk about? Oh, I did a benefit for pit bulls last night. It's one of my favorite benefits of the year because I absolutely fucking love dogs. And I also showed up, and there's all these pit bulls there that need to be adopted and stuff. And they're just the best fucking looking. Like, if you drew a dog's face, that's what a pit bull, you know, what their face looks like. That is just a fucking dog. So I went over there, and there's all these poor dogs that had their fucking ears clipped and shit. And, you know, they went through all of this goddamn pain, and they're just sitting there, you know. They're looking scary because their fucking ears are all cut up and shit. So I go over to pet this one, right? Great fucking dog. It's one of those dogs where you start petting it, it like leans into you. It puts all its weight on you. And I wasn't prepared for that. And I squatted down like a catcher to pet this thing. And it just fucking leaned into me and actually knocked me over. I felt like a fucking asshole. But, it was crazy. They had puppies there. You know, if my dog wasn't such a psycho and wouldn't try to fight another dog if I brought it in, I would own 3 of them. So I just got to ride it out with the crazy dog that I love now. Give her the best life possible. But when that chapter is over, I'm gonna get a blue nose, a red nose. I'm gonna get an all white one, and I'm gonna get a black one. I'm gonna have 4 of them, and even then, that won't be enough. That's how much I fucking love that breed of dog. So it was a fucking great time going over there and doing the show. Actually, I did 2 shows, and the first show went great. The second show, I don't know what happened. I think I went out too hard. There was a comic in the room that I wanted to impress, a comic that I liked when I was starting out. Now I still like him, obviously, but I tried to fucking. I swear to God, nothing will humble you like fucking stand-up comedy. Every time you think you got it down, you know, like I got this fucking figured out. What ends up happening? You know, you go up there and I didn't eat my balls, but I definitely I munched on them a little bit. I swear to God, I thought I said it the same funny way. I went up there and I said, you know what? I just hope that when it's all said and done, all the money we raise here tonight, some of it actually trickles down to the dogs or something like that. Because, you know, half of these goddamn charities are total scams. Just as far as like, you know, the amount of money that goes towards whatever the hell they're trying to stop versus what they line their pockets with. I mean, it's a scam. Somebody sent me something where, you know, the amount of charities out there that they name their charity that almost sounds like the legitimate charity. You know, like that Coming to America instead of McDonald's, it's McDowell's. They do that, and these fucking pieces of shit will just put a picture of a starving kid or something like that, and then you feel bad and you drop some change in there, a couple bucks, and they just keep it, and they go out and they get a house. All right, we had another glitch with some of the wires here. The fuck was I talking about? It'll get better, people. It'll get better. If you get down there and get your All Things Comedy $5 fundraiser stickers. Do we even have a website? Mike, do we even have a website where I'm supposed to tell these people to get these fucking stickers at?
Yeah, tubestart.com.
Oh, right there. Go to tubestart.com. If you'd like to stop hearing delays in this podcast, whatever, we'll figure it out. Anyway, so these cunts, they start a what do you call it? A charity, and they name it like another charity that's actually legitimate, and then they put some, sad puppy's face or who the fuck knows what, and then they make a bunch of money. Next thing you know, they got a big house sitting by a pool, and they don't feel 1 ounce of guilt. They're absolutely. You know what would happen to these people if they actually did something like that in Singapore? Where it's illegal to spit gum on the sidewalk. I can't imagine the caning that these people would get. And they would fucking deserve it, too. As horrific as a caning video is. I actually have a theory, people. Oh, Billy Gossip is coming with the theory. I've noticed this year, a lot of stuff came out about a certain campaign that was raising awareness that made everybody wear the, it's not quite a magenta. The pink campaign. A lot of shit came out about that. A lot of unsavory fucking shit over there about that campaign and about how much money was being raised and how much was actually being appropriated toward actually finding a fucking cure for breast cancer and how much was going into new tiling inside this person's fucking Olympic-sized pool. And also a lot of shit came out about the NFL and their pink jerseys. And by a lot of shit, I mean the website I went to and the one article that I read about, I thought it was a legitimate website. I mean, it was on the internet, right? And they were saying that, like 95% of the profits from those jerseys went into the NFL's pockets. And I think that people were starting to blow whistles. But the NFL makes so much fucking money for media giants, ESPN, fucking Fox, and NBC, that they all kind of squashed it. And I think that the pink lady and the NFL both made their money, and they're slowly backing off each other and just going to pretend it never fucking happened. Because this year, they went from, oh, my God, if I see another fucking pink thing again in my life, I'm going to kill myself. Last year, you couldn't escape it. I mean, I remember when I was in New Orleans working, and there was like I went to this casino and the blackjack table. That was 2 years ago. The blackjack table was pink. It was all fucking over the place. And now I notice this year, straight across the board, the NFL and everywhere else, way, way, way the fuck toned down. Way the fuck toned down. And I think they're all slowly walking away from some unsavory shit. They're just acting like it never happened. Hey, whatever. We should, like that crimes and misdemeanors where somebody got killed but nobody got caught, and you just kind of get over it after a while. You just get on with your fucking life. I think, if I had to guess, but then I'm not a negative prick. I'm a cynical son of a bitch, and I think that that's what happened. Someday the Oprah will make a fucking movie about it, right? The Lifetime Network. Someone will play the pink lady. No, Oprah wouldn't do that, right? That would make women look bad. She's not about that. If there's a guy, you know what? They'd say it was based on real events, and then somehow they would make the reason why the evil woman at the head of the pink campaign did it was because some guy was verbally abusing her or hit on her when she walked down the street. There's a couple of another like non-stories in stand-up comedy, like the fucking outrage. Back when I was a kid, when people got outraged, what they did was when they wanted to find out if people were actually outraged, they went out in the street and they talked to people. Now it's like marketed outrage. So I don't even buy into it. You know what I mean? Like this comic, they did this whole fucking thing. This woman made a video. She walked around New York City for 10 fucking hours. 10 hours! Yeah, you fucking walk around in public for 10 hours as a good-looking woman, somebody's going to hit on you, right? They should follow me for 10 hours. It'd be the exact opposite. Instead of people hitting on me, be like, hey, over here! Anybody? Acknowledge me! And then in the end, I'd get mugged. Jesus Christ, bunch of fucking crybabies now. You know what I love? All the fucking clothes she was wearing were made in a sweatshop somewhere. So as much as she's having a fucking problem, people calling out how nice her ass is, there's some crying child that made those jeans that are so wonderfully cupping her booty cheeks. You know? And, I think that's one to grow on. I don't give a I think that's somebody, just a bunch of bullshit. Everybody flipping out about it. It's such a lazy goddamn story. And then you know where they always get started? Some fat fucking blogger's site. Or some victim douche makes a fucking video. And then they always end up on those cheeseball sites, those list sites that steal 6 hours of your life. Top 10 turtles in the Indian Ocean. All of a sudden, oh, geez, I wonder what those look like, How the fuck did you end up there? The top 20 worst plastic surgery nightmares. The top 100 porn star blowjobs in the month of March. I mean, as much as I'm making fun of them, because I can make fun of them, I know what the fuck they are. But I don't know. I'm just, I don't think there is any outrage. I don't. And I think they just find like 2 or 3 fucking people and they just try to magnify it. Right? Someone will get upset about anything, like this fucking that chick up there in Oregon who had inoperable brain cancer and decided that she, rather than go through it, she just wanted to die. I was actually reading this story. She went to Oregon because if you want to die up there, they let you do it. And the hospitals are like, wait a minute, how dare you decide to die and we don't make any money off of it? Now, God damn it, this goes against the Lord. You need to come into our hospitals and lay there, and we'll medicate you, and we'll just drag this fucking thing out, and then stick your alive relatives with a 6-figure bill. How dare you go around all of that? She basically, medically speaking, was off the grid. So she decided to go up there. It was actually fucking creeping me out, She went up there and she picked out the house that she wanted to die in. She picked out like a little yellow house, and then just basically took drugs. Like, I'm dying now. Do you realize the fucking nerve that takes? I couldn't do that. As much as, like, yeah, I could. If you were going to put cement shoes on me and you gave me a cyanide pill, which is probably a horrific death too, but it's nice and quick, yeah, I'd do it. But I'd still have to psych myself up, trying to think what prayer I could say to a higher power just in case it actually exists that would exonerate me from all the fucking horrific shit that I've done in my life. I don't know if I could do that. What would you rather do? Would you rather just go to Oregon and die in a yellow house, hanging out with your friends, just watch a football game, be like, all right, everybody, listen, man, I had a great time. Like, you're going home. See you later, man. All right, just fucking pop a pill. I don't know. Guys, I got nothing. I don't know what the fuck happened this week. Oh, here's one for you. Kansas City Royals lost the World Series, man. That killed me. I wish they sent that guy home. Even if he got thrown out at the plate, just to have somebody try to get an inside the park home run in the 9th inning down by 1. Bottom of the 9th at home. Jesus Christ. I was watching that in the bar, and the second it went by that guy, I'm thinking, all right, that's a double. Then it went down there and it bounced off the wall, and that guy kicked it or something. I'm like, that's definitely a triple. You know what kills me? If that was Willie Wilson running the base path, he definitely would have made it. Oh, that fucker would have made it. He would have made it, and then you know what you would have had? You would have had one of the great plays in baseball. However, if anybody's going to sit around and give that guy shit, is like, he should have gone. And it's like, the same reason why he didn't go is why that guy in center field missed the fucking ball. Because it was the 9th inning of the World Series. You know what I mean? There's so much on the line. If that was the regular season, that guy just would have let the blooper drop in. But he ran in thinking, I got to make a play. And then the second it hit the ground, he looked like me out in the field. I actually make fun of myself a lot athletically, like I stink. And that nothing could be further from the truth. A lot of people don't know I was actually drafted by the Texas Longhorns to play baseball. But I just decided, Roger Clemens was still there at the time, and I was just like, it's his time. It's his time. I don't want to do that to people, right? Is anybody watching hockey at all? I've been so busy fucking looking at all this other shit. I have had no time to look at it whatsoever. Although I do know that that the fucking Bruins beat the Senators the other night, didn't they? 3-2. They shifted up the line. It's Bergie's line there. They got Marchand in the other fucking line or something. People, I'm basically out of shit to talk about, maybe for the first time ever. So I'm just going to sit here and can you guys just ride with me for the next couple of weeks while we're gonna write and record these next couple episodes, and then I'm gonna be done with the F is for Family shit. Then we're gonna animate it. Then I'll actually have some free fucking time, and I can actually live a little bit of life, and maybe actually have something to talk about on my goddamn podcast. Mike, what am I up to here? Like 50 minutes? 51 minutes? I gotta somehow figure out another 9 minutes of shit that I have to talk about. And you know what? You're not gonna help me. You're just gonna sit over there and go, oh, we got another glitch. Got another glitch in the fucking main board here. Mike, has that ever happened? Any podcast in here? It hasn't, right?
No.
What is with me and technology? It just doesn't fucking work out for me.
I don't know.
All right, whatever. Corpse found in a Costa Rican Concordian. Wreck assumed to be Russell Rebello. No way, not fucking Russell Rebello. Ah, Jesus Christ. There's my fucking phone. Who is it? Bum, 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 bum. Ah, shit, I gotta take this, guys. Sorry. Hello? Hey, I'm finishing up my podcast. Can I call you back in 2 seconds? Okay, cool. Bye. This is how bad I am with technology. The reason why whenever my management calls, I always pick up is because I know they probably sent me an email that I didn't see, and I'm supposed to be somewhere that I'm not. I really fucking hate the fact that people can get away with now. Well, you know, like, dude, why didn't you tell me? I sent you an email. Why don't you just send a fucking carrier pigeon that doesn't fly back to you? And like, you should send a parrot is what you should do. Send me the message, and then the parrot comes back like, I was able to give it to him, and he read it, right? You just send a fucking email? Did I just imitate a parrot? Is that how much I'm fucking struggling to fill time? Yeah, I don't fucking like when people do that shit. They think, I sent you an email. It was all in the email. It's like, dude, I get 1,000 fucking emails. You know how much porno I've watched on my computer? Jesus Christ, you know how many fucking emails I get a day? I've bought shit on all of these fucking websites. I can't even find emails anymore. I get so much stuff, and then people go, oh, why don't you just start a second account? And you know, on that one, you know, it's only for friends and family and all of that fucking shit. Because eventually I'm going to have it open. And I'm going to look at somebody, fucking blowing somebody. And then next thing you know, they somehow just get it. There's no more privacy or whatever. So that's the reason why I took the phone call. I apologize. That was unbelievably, not unbelievably. It's probably typically unprofessional of me. Yeah, so anyways, all right, what do I got going on coming up? Anyways, you know what? I'm just going to hype the shit that I do have coming up. I got a stand-up special coming up December 5th. I know I've bored you to death with this, but I'd love if you watched it. It's on Netflix, and I've been getting shit about this, that it's only on Netflix and that you're not going to be able to buy it anywhere for like a year. And all I have to say is you only have yourselves to blame for that. All right? If you fucking cunts would actually pay for the goddamn thing, I could put up my own money for it. You know? But I can't put up my own money for it because only like maybe, I don't know, 5,000 of you will actually purchase the thing, and that'll get me 25 grand back of about 180 grand. So would you do a deal like that? You wouldn't. So whatever. Netflix put up the money. So that's how it works. And then part of my agreement is that they own it exclusively for a year. That's how it works. But here's the thing. You know, some assholes, some gonna, whatever you fucking tech geeks call it, rip it and wrap it and fucking upload it. And it's going to be on YouTube anyways, so you'll just see it that way. Okay? So quit breaking my fucking balls about it. These fucking nerds, man. You out there, you know, how come they just keep making movies about fucking superheroes and Transformers and shit? And apes taking over the planet? Because you stole all the other ones. You stole it. You stole all the fucking... You get what you pay for. You stop paying for movies, so now they're like, fuck it. We're going to make these movies that even if you steal them, it's going to suck to watch at home. They're either going to make those or they're going to make little cheapies. Little cheapy ones where you got to share a sleeping bag with the 5 other actors and the directors every day on a shoot. Those are the only fucking movies they make anymore. And you know what? You fucking cunts got no one to blame but yourself, so I don't want to hear it. So my special comes out December 5th on Netflix, all right? I should have called it you get what you pay for. Oh, is that what you should have called it, Bill? Ooh. Then what's going to happen, huh? Is there some group going to get upset Who's the latest guy? Chris Rock got in trouble. He got outraged. He got some outrage. He told some joke and people were outraged. Some people or some groups. How long? You know what's funny about what he did was there's no real group. I guess Boston Strong, they could get outraged. They could pretend to be outraged so they could sell more T-shirts. So then they can line their fucking pockets. And then, maybe a couple of it trickles down to the actual victims of the bombing. I swear to God, I would like to start you know what the charity you should do is you just walk up to the person who got injured in the bombing and you just hand them a bag of cash that insurance companies can't see, so they don't say that you're now making this much money, so this somehow cancels your policy. We got to somehow come up with something where you just get the money directly to the wounded warrior, directly to the victim of the marathon bombings, as opposed to these Mary Kay cosmetic fucking cunts who are standing in between the money and the victim like a fucking... They're sitting there like a windscreen. I literally have my arms out right now acting this out, just catching as much of the cash as they possibly can. It's like a filter. I don't know. I'm not saying they're all bad. But generally speaking, you know what I mean? People are fucking people, and I don't trust them. I don't fucking trust them. Is this bad? You know what's funny is at some point I'm hoping to get to the level in this business that actually somebody will take the time to get offended by something that I say. Although the second show last night, it was David Spade was in the crowd. I didn't want to drop a name, and I'm a fucking huge fan of his, so I wanted to impress him. And then I went up there and I fucking ate my balls. I didn't eat my balls. It fucking kills you. You know what? And that was like the last set of the night. It was my last set, so now that's just lingering there. So fortunately tonight I'm actually at Flappers. I swear to God, that's the name of a comedy club. I don't know why they always have to give them zany names, like zanies, right? Wackos, bananas, fucks, whatever the hell they call them. This one's called Flappers, and evidently it's because back in the day, I don't know, there was people who danced, like during the vaudevillian days. Hey, let's get some flappers out there, while we get the comics, I don't know, getting his puppet, whatever the fuck they were doing, right? So whatever. So they named this comedy club Flappers, and then all the waitresses and shit got to dress like it's the 1920s. And then the guy who runs the room, he's got to fucking dress like he's got a fucking Tommy gun in a violin case. I don't know why they do it. I don't know why they don't sit down with other comedians and have a meeting and just say, hey, do you think this is a good idea? Oh, speaking of which, you guys got to listen to the Verzi Effect this week. Another All Things Comedy member, Paul Verzi. Somebody threw a fucking beer bottle at him. Thank God they missed. They threw a fucking beer bottle at him. And Verzi said he did some Matrix shit. And the guy missed him. But, this is just classic comedy club security. Dude, I don't know if you guys realize, but throwing a beer bottle at somebody's fucking head is assault with a deadly weapon. You literally can lose your eye, cave in your skull. I had a buddy of mine in high school. Somebody smashed a bottle in his face. He's scarred for life. I haven't seen him in years, but he had this big scar going from his forehead right down the side of his face. Totally affected him socially. When he talked to him, he would cheat his face to the side. He was this outgoing guy, became all fucking self-conscious and all that shit, right? And this guy does this shit. Classic comedy club security. Do you know they didn't get the guy's name and he just fucking left? They're like, oh, he just ran out of here. It's like, what do you mean he just fucking ran out? How does he just run out of here? He threw a fucking beer bottle at somebody. I don't know. He kind of slipped through our fingers. And just fucking ran out the door like Charlie Chaplin. I'm not saying you got to go fight the guy. But with all this cell phone camera video that you can get now, you couldn't videotape his fucking car. Not videotape, whatever. I'm so old. Whatever. You couldn't get a VHS tape of him driving out of the parking lot? Just something, a picture of his car. Anything. That guy should be in fucking jail. I don't know. Sorry, it's a good friend of mine. Somebody threw a fucking beer bottle at him. Anyway, so if you want to listen to the full story of it, listen to the Verzi Effect this week. And that's it. Mercifully, I'm up here at an hour. I apologize, guys. I had, I didn't get it done this week, I think I started off strong with the test pilot shit. I ended kind of weakly. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe you guys are actually enjoying it, and I just can't hear the laughter. This weekend, if you are in Boston, Massachusetts, I am doing the 20th anniversary. Believe it or not, I can't believe it because I think I was on the second or the third one. That's how fucking old I am. The 20th anniversary of a great charity where the money actually goes to the people that need it. The Cam Neely House. Comics Come Home, the 20th anniversary. Dennis Leary is going to host it as always. He put together this charity with Cam Neely 20 years ago. You know, from day one, it was a big deal. I remember the year that we did it, they actually filmed it for Comedy Central. And now somehow it is in its 20th year. I remember a few years ago it was in the 15th year. I was like, how the fuck is it 15 years ago? You know, that feels like 2 years ago. 5 years goes by like 2 years now at my age. So it's kind of terrifying. But anyways, it's going to be a murderer's row of comedians. And as far as I know, I think they're putting me on last, as I mentioned last week. And that's what you do on that show. You do not headline. You go on last. So I got to make sure my game is up to snuff. So I don't get a bunch of shit. You know what's funny? It was the wedding I went to this week. I hung out with a buddy of mine that was from Boston. And I haven't been around that vibe that much, that consistently. It's just the level of defensiveness. Somehow we started talking about sneakers, and we were saying how people will stand in line for sneakers, and people get beat up and shot over sneakers, and sometimes these sneakerheads, they buy these fucking sneakers and then they put them in the back of their closet so they can break them out 5 years later. So people are like, oh fuck, where'd you get those? And this dude, totally fucking Boston, it's just like, yeah, dude, I don't get that, you know? Like, my whole life, like, I never been into shit, you know? Like, I'm not into shit. Like, really choppy talking. Like, we're just having this conversation, just kind of jumps in like that, and we're just looking at him like, what do you mean? You're not into anything? You like to fish? He's like, yeah, dude, but I wouldn't, like, buy a fucking pole and then stick it in my closet and pull it out 5 years later. Oh, look at this shit. Like, every fucking thing was like that. He went up to go do a drink run, and he comes back. He's like, yeah, dude, what the fuck's with that bartender, you know? I go up there to order your bourbon. The guy's like, do you want it neat? Do you want it on the rocks? It's like, dude, I don't know what the fuck that means. Just put it in a glass. You know? What the fuck? So anyways, I'm going to be performing for people like that next weekend to raise money for the Cam Neely House. All right, that's it. I'm sorry. Oh, he ended with a whimper. He came in like a douche and ended out like a cunt. All right, that's the podcast for this week. I'm getting new and comfortable to the All Things Comedy podcast here. Please go to allthingscomedy.com. Check out all the other websites, all the other podcasters that we have on there. And once again, if you'd like to help us here, go to tubestart.com and buy a couple of stickers. You can do it if you want. If you don't, who gives a fuck, I didn't talk about Halloween. I got to talk about Halloween real quick. This is like a comic that will not get off stage. He's just trying to get the last big laugh. Mike's over in the corner like, for fuck's sakes, I got a life to get on with here. We finally figured out Halloween. This is the way you do it. Because last year, we did not give out candy because my lovely wife was so fucking sick of all the high school kids and the precocious cunt kids and the fucking adults that show up and they want candy and they say fucked up shit. This is how you do Halloween. All right? The first hour is the best. It's all little kids, little cutie pie kids with parents who are excited, and it's their kids' like first or second Halloween. The first kid that showed up to the door, he was dressed like a little fireman, right? And I'm like, oh, look at you, little fireman, how you doing? And I crouch down and I hold the bowl out to give him the candy. And this adorable little kid reaches in, grabs one of the candy bars, and then goes to hand it to me. I'm like, no, you get to keep it. You get to keep it. Fucking adorable as hell, right? And then he turns around. He goes to walk away. The back of his jacket, his little raincoat said Fire Chief. It was adorable as hell. But then he stopped. It was hilarious. He stopped and he walked back and he reached in. He grabbed another piece of candy and put it like he got it, you know? And then I was thinking, no, that's cute. / he's on his way to being like these cunty kids that are going to be coming here in an hour. So there's an hour of these cute kids. And then the next hour, you get these precocious kids, right, who think everything they say is so fucking brilliant and that adults are stupid, right? And these kids come up, And as I'm going to give him, first kid, there's this group of kids, and one of them comes up to the door, and I'm just like, he looked like he was the Grim Reaper. I'm like, oh, the Grim Reaper. And he's like, oh, I'm not the Grim Reaper. I'm so-and-so from like either Harry Potter or fucking Lord of the Rings. I don't know what he was supposed to do. It's just like, dude, fuck you. You look like the Grim Reaper. How many houses are you going to go to when they guess Grim Reaper before you blame yourself that you made a bad costume, you little douche, right? So I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I didn't see the movie. And he goes, well, could you at least read the book? I wanted to fucking boot him right in his 7th grade ass. And then another group of kids, they come there and we all fucking give them candy. And then they start singing, we wish you a Merry Christmas. They start caroling on my front porch. Like this is blowing my mind. Like I'm going to be like, wait a minute. What holiday is it? That's what I can't stand. It's the fact that they think that they're smarter than you. This is why it's so great I never had kids. I would have been such a bad parent because I just want to be like, do you think you're really fucking with me right now? I had water damage on a house. I have a fucking mortgage. I have a goddamn wife. Do you think right now what you're doing is blowing my mind? Huh? You little fuck? I don't know. And then what we did, so then we wrote it out through those douchebags because still there was some little kids, cute kids coming up. And then what you do is the first fucking kid who looks like he's pushing high school age and has that shit-eating grin look on his face. What I should have done was just slam the door in his face, said he was too big, but I didn't because I don't want anybody fucking with my house. What you do is you let one guy get you. You give him the candy, and the second he leaves, that's it. You blow out the candle and the pumpkin, you shut off the porch light, you just shut it down. It's over. You shut out all the lights in your house, and you go down into the bowels of your house or into some closet, and you just pour yourself a drink.